We open on the Grave Desert, a desolate wasteland under a burning sun. Even the local wildlife seems to sense that something is wrong. Suddenly, the silence is broken by the sound of frantic running. A pack of level 3 desert ghost wolves are on the hunt, and their prey is a small party of adventurers, running for their lives. A mage, a priest, and a warrior, all level 3, are hopelessly outmatched. Their captain, the warrior, spots a potential escape route in the distance. But she knows these beasts are relentless and won't give up easily. Worse still, they're already injured from a previous battle, their gear damaged. As hope fades, they begin to accept their grim and dusty fate. But in the chaos of the chase, the priest, Xiaohei, loses her footing and falls. Her teammates can only cry out her name, their faces a mask of pure horror. The wolves don't hesitate for a second, leaping toward their vulnerable target. On the ground, Xiaohei looks up, paralyzed by the sight of her impending doom. But a new presence watches, its gaze cold and focused, reflecting the snarling beast. Suddenly, a brilliant beam of light slams into the wolf, stopping it dead in its tracks. The creature is sent flying, a sword now embedded deep within its skull. It crashes into the dust, its hunt brought to an abrupt and violent end. Xiaohei stares in stunned silence at the shadowy figure standing over the corpse. A mysterious cloaked traveler has arrived, and their timing couldn't be better. Xiaohei looks up at her mysterious savior, still processing what just happened. But a system window reveals a shocking truth about their rescuer. He's only level 1. Her shock turns to disbelief. A level 1 just one-shot at a level 3 monster. The stranger reveals himself, a young man with an unnervingly calm expression. But the rest of the pack isn't impressed, and they begin to circle their new target. The kid seems utterly unfazed, almost disappointed by the level 3 monsters. Taking his arrogance as an insult, the remaining wolves charge in for the kill. He calmly grips the hilt of his sword, which begins to crackle with energy. In a flash, he unleashes a devastating strike, a whirlwind of steel and power. The charging beasts are stopped cold, sent flying back by the sheer force of his attack. But it wasn't just a block. It was a massacre in a single fluid motion. The adventurers can only watch, their minds struggling to comprehend the scene. As the dust settles, he stands over the fallen beasts, a lone figure against the dying sun. The mage realizes a level 1 rookie just soloed 4 level 3 monsters with a starter sword. But just as they begin to process their rescue, Xiaohei spots a new horror on the horizon. It seems the wolves' friends have arrived and they are not happy. An entire legion of desert ghost wolves now stands before them, a sea of glowing red eyes. The scent of blood has drawn the main pack and their numbers are overwhelming. The mage screams at him to run, warning that this horde could destroy an entire village. But our boy just smirks, his own eyes glowing with a predatory crimson light. He calmly raises his hand, summoning a set of glowing blue cards. A system window confirms his name, Lin Yuan, and asks to summon his army. With a flash of green in his eyes, he confirms his choice without hesitation. The cards shoot from his hand, spinning across the desolate battlefield. They embed themselves in the sand, glowing with an otherworldly light. A massive summoning circle erupts, bathing the desert in an eerie green light. From the earth, a skeletal hand claws its way into existence. An army of level 3 skeleton warriors rises because why fight when you have minions? The wolfpack leader lets out a furious howl, its eyes burning with rage. And with that, the entire horde charges forward, a tidal wave of snarling beasts. Lin Yuan's eyes glow with an eerie green light as he welcomes the challenge. In response, his army of skeleton warriors charges into the fray. The clash is immediate and brutal, a whirlwind of bone against fang. The undead soldiers prove ruthlessly efficient, cutting down the beasts with ease. Lin Yuan himself moves through the chaos, a calm predator among the carnage. In moments, the battlefield is cleared, and the system rewards start rolling in. Strange blue orbs of light begin to rise from the fallen wolves. Lin Yuan draws the mysterious energy into himself, absorbing their very essence. The adventurers can only watch from a distance, trying to reboot their brains. The mage finally works up the courage to ask about his unheard-of summoning skill. Lin Yuan turns, his eyes glowing red, questioning the mage's assumption about his class. The girl can only stare back, her mind racing to comprehend what he could be. He offers only a confident, knowing smirk in response to her confusion. A system window reveals the truth. He's a necromancer, a forbidden SSS rank class. And now for the backstory, as Lin Yuan reveals he is a reincarnator. It all began when a mysterious game called Immortal World appeared on Earth. Within this virtual world, humanity learned to fight back against monstrous threats. But the lines blurred when players began manifesting their in-game abilities in reality. Unfortunately, they weren't the only ones to cross over from the game. Evil cultists and their monstrous allies brought their war to the real world. In his previous life, Lin Yuan lost his parents at the very start of the invasion. Humanity's strongest warriors united to fight back against a cosmic evil. But in the final, desperate battle, he was among the countless who fell. Then, just an hour ago, he awoke, reborn at the game's very beginning. This time, the system granted him a forbidden SSS-Rank Necromancer class. Armed with this second chance, he vows to protect everyone he lost. And with that, his flashback ends, returning us to the present battlefield. But the fight isn't over. For a necromancer, the real work is just beginning. He reaches out, and a sinister green energy begins to rise from the fallen. A system prompt asks if he wants to summon from the corpses, because waste not, want not. Lin Yuan confirms his choice, and the dead wolf's eyes flare with an unholy green light. Its corpse begins to twist and reform, imbued with the necromancer's dark power. The entire pack rises again, now a legion of level 3 zombie ghost wolves. He reveals another skill, the Underworld Gate, a personal pocket dimension for his army. A colossal chained gate materializes from the swirling green energy. The ancient doors creak open, revealing a blinding, otherworldly light. His new undead minions obediently march into the portal, awaiting his command. He knows that with enough time, he will command an unstoppable legion of the dead. The mage can only stammer, demanding to know who he is and what this power is. But Lin Yuan ignores her, his gaze fixed on the horizon as if expecting something. A massive system notification fills the sky, announcing the descent of a world boss. And this is exactly what Lin Yuan was waiting for, a chance to kill the boss. Elsewhere, another group of players can only watch as the sky itself begins to break. A crimson rift tears through the heavens, a wound in the fabric of reality. From the darkness within, a pair of malevolent red eyes stare down at the world. Panic grips the other players as they realize the world boss is here. Remembering the boss's deadly attack range, they scatter in a desperate panic. It's a mad scramble for survival as the players try to escape the kill zone. And just like that, the raid party is reduced to a red smear on the sand. Only 2 manage to survive, watching the carnage from behind a rock. The world boss enjoys a grim snack, a player dangling from its jaws. This is the giant death wolf, a level 6 Lord rank monster. Elsewhere, a player tries to rush in for revenge, held back by his friends. The 2 survivors can only watch in terror, doubting anyone could defeat it. But their attention is drawn to a lone figure approaching in the distance. A cloaked man walks calmly toward the beast, seemingly without a care. It's Lin Yuan, striding confidently into the heart of the danger zone. His eyes burn with a crimson light, focused solely on his target. The survivors dismiss him as a rookie because judging by the sword is always a great idea. A system breakdown explains the monster hierarchy, from normal to god rank. Lin Yuan comes to a halt, planting his feet firmly in the sand. The sheer scale of the beast is staggering, a true titan of the desert. The survivors scream at him to run, convinced he's on a suicide mission. But Lin Yuan doesn't even flinch, staring down the level 6 world boss. He remembers this beast from his past life, but now sees it as nothing. His confidence seems to enrage the monster, its fangs dripping with blood. The world boss unleashes its first attack, a devastating sonic howl. Lin Yuan digs his heels in, bracing against the immense pressure of the blast. Before the dust can settle, the beast follows up with a deadly claw strike. Yet our boy remains completely unfazed, a confident smirk on his face. He recalls the beast's stats from his past life, a formidable foe for level 3 players. For the low-level adventurers of this desert, it was an impossible challenge without a team. In fact, he remembers almost dying to this very beast, even with a full party. But he's no longer that weak warrior, he's a reincarnator forged in countless battles. The claw slams into the ground, pulverizing the spot where he stood a moment ago. In a flash, he's already moved, a blur of motion running along the beast's flank. The surviving player can only stare in disbelief, stunned by his impossible speed. His casual dodge only serves to enrage the monster, a system warning confirming its fury. And Lin Yuan's response is a confident smirk, because of course it is. He then slams his palm onto the desert floor, preparing to unleash his true power. He channels his dark energy, which spreads across the desert floor. With a single command, he summons the Underworld Gate once more. The colossal structure dwarfs even the world boss, a monument to his power. Lin Yuan smirks, ready to unleash the legion he has waiting. The gates swing open, and his army of zombie ghost wolves pours out. The survivors can only gape, recognizing the undead beasts from the desert. He reveals he leveled up on the way, increasing his army's size. But the world boss ignores the minions. its eyes locked only on Lin Yuan. It charges past the undead horde, determined to crush the summoner first. In response, his zombie wolves let out a unified, unholy howl. The giant death wolf ignores Lin Yuan, bringing its claw down on a zombie minion. But this is the exact opening our boy was waiting for. He's exploiting the game's aggro mechanics to interrupt the boss's attack. In a flash, he unleashes a powerful strike, drawing the beast's full attention. The world boss howls in pain and rage, its eyes now locked on him. Lin Yuan stands his ground, facing the enraged titan without a hint of fear. With the boss distracted, his zombie wolves leap back into the fray. He's using them to chip away at the monster's health, one small bite at a time. Against this relentless undead swarm, even a Lord-rank monster can be overwhelmed. Lin Yuan plants his sword, prepared to rinse and repeat this deadly dance. He seizes the opening, bringing his sword down in a devastating arc. A critical hit lands, and the boss's health bar absolutely evaporates. The colossal beast is sent flying back, howling in agony from the blow. It crashes into the desert floor, its reign of terror coming to an end. As the dust clears, the system confirms the boss is on the brink of death. But Lin Yuan's expression is one of cold, calculated indifference. Suddenly, the sound of running feet breaks the momentary silence. The surviving players charge in, ready to kill-steal the boss's loot. Lin Yuan turns, his gaze promising a swift and painful lesson in etiquette. But a lone voice cries out, warning him of the impending betrayal. With a flash of crimson in his eyes, Lin Yuan moves to intercept the thieves. In a single, fluid motion, he cuts them down before they can even react. Their bodies hit the sand, their greedy ambitions ending in a splash of red. He looks down on the fallen, a cold warning about overestimating themselves. The other adventurers are stunned, realizing he just one-shotted 3 players. With the trash now taken care of, he turns back to the real prize. He unleashes one final devastating strike to end the battle for good. The blow lands true, a critical hit that seals the monster's fate. A system window confirms the kill, along with his experience and rewards. As the beast's corpse glows, he wonders what treasures the first world boss kill will yield. The boss's corpse dissolves into a shower of golden light and loot. He picks up a soul gem, a key to obtaining legendary equipment. While it's meant for high-level players, he knows its true value early on. The game's equipment ranks are vast, from common iron to mythical gear. He recalls using his future knowledge to outsmart elite monsters just hours ago. That strategy earned him a bronze-rank robe, a huge advantage for a rookie. But the world boss kill grants him something far greater, the Hunter title. The permanent stat boosts are a massive boon, a reward worthy of the achievement. And as the first player to achieve this feat, he's also awarded a silver chest. Inside is a treasure trove of gear, potions, and skill items, a truly legendary haul. His inventory is now stocked with a new sword, a ring, potions, and a skill scroll. The massive EXP gain sends him rocketing from level 3 to the brink of level 4. His new stats reflect the power boost, with his mind and agility stats soaring. Lin Yuan knows that with this level up, he's now the strongest player in the entire region. The system highlights his forbidden class, a power no one else in this world possesses. Though his zombie wolves were destroyed, his underworld gate has now doubled in capacity. But why settle for minions when you can have a world boss? He prepares to claim his prize. With a glint in his crimson eyes, Lin Yuan confirms his choice without a second thought. The dead titan's eye flares with a sinister green light as the necromantic ritual begins. Dark energy surges through the corpse, its colossal form beginning to stir with unholy life. The giant death wolf is reborn, its stats now enhanced with the power of the undead. Lin Yuan analyzes his new prize, noting its powerful new area of effect skills. With his new undead titan, he can now quickly replenish his entire legion. The peanut gallery finally realizes that maybe, just maybe, the guy who raises world bosses is the real threat. But his attention is drawn elsewhere, his crimson eyes sensing a lingering presence. He turns his gaze toward the rocks, spotting the players who thought they were hidden. He notes with mild annoyance that the spectators haven't left the theater yet. He inspects the loot from the fallen thieves, a black iron sword he considers beneath him. He grips the hilt of the lesser sword, an idea beginning to form. He approaches the terrified survivors, who now believe their own execution is at hand. He singles out the player who warned him, his voice laced with cold authority. The man can only stammer, sweating under the necromancer's intense gaze. But instead of a killing blow, Lin Yuan offers him the sword from the fallen thief. The player stares in utter disbelief, completely baffled by this turn of events. Lin Yuan walks away, calling it a thank you for the timely warning. The other survivors crowd around, shocked that he just gave away a valuable black iron sword. 10 minutes later, Lin Yuan continues his solitary journey across the endless desert. But he suddenly stops, a strange sensation washing over him. A strange glitching effect emanates from a device on his head. And just like that, he's back in reality, removing a VR helmet as the battery dies. He sits in a modest room, the powerful necromancer now just a guy at a desk. He knows he needs to upgrade his gear, both in-game and out. He stares at the login screen for Immortal World, the game that will change everything. The game is a global phenomenon, with servers divided by real-world regions. Within his region, players can choose from 3 distinct starting kingdoms. A fourth option, the coastal tidal island, offers a completely different path. At the very beginning, every player is faced with this critical choice. But even with his future knowledge, Lin Yuan chose the same path as his past life. Without hesitation, he selects the harsh and unforgiving West Desert, because he remembers a terrible secret he learned just before his first death. In his final moments, he was trapped and broken, his pleas for help echoing unanswered. A cloaked figure turned their back on him, leaving him to his fate. The memory of that ultimate betrayal is still burned into his mind. As the heavens tore open, his supposed ally simply walked away, but in that moment, he saw it. A golden emblem from the Western Desert Guild. He now knows the truth. The first follower of the cosmic evil was a human player. This traitor was the key to bringing the apocalypse to Earth in his past life. But now, Lin Yuan has 3 years to find this person and change the future. His only clue to the traitor's identity is that very same guild emblem. To find this rat, he must first reach level 10 and enter the main city. His eyes burn with conviction, his path now crystal clear. And just like that, a summon card materializes in his hand, right here in reality. He recalls that certain players could bring their powers from the game into the real world. These rare and powerful individuals were known by a single, ominous name. They were called the Chosen, humanity's greatest champions in the war to come. But Lin Yuan knows his forbidden class is something else entirely, a power beyond their scope. A sudden noise from the other room snaps him out of his thoughts. He glances at the clock, a wave of realization washing over him. His parents are waiting for him at the dinner table, their faces etched with concern. But he greets them with a smile, serving a meal he never thought he'd share again. His mother playfully urges his father to eat, savoring this rare moment of family time. But for Lin Yuan, this is more than a meal. It's a chance to atone for his past self. He remembers a life lost to the virtual world, ignoring the family right in front of him. A life that ended in flames, with the crushing realization of what he'd taken for granted. The memory of that loss is a wound that will never truly heal. Back in the present, his father's question brings up another important person. His sister. It seems his sister, Tan, is busy studying, so his mom asks him to deliver her a meal. His parents are genuinely impressed by his cooking, a skill he definitely didn't have before. But his father seems to notice something more than just the taste of the food. Lin Yuan simply smiles, promising this is only the beginning of his new life. His parents can only stare, taken aback by his sudden maturity. His father agrees with a proud smile, his mother moved to tears. The next day, Lin Yuan pushes his physical body to its absolute limit. He knows that to wield his future power, his real-world vessel must be strong enough. So he trains relentlessly, honing his strength with every focused strike. From the gym to the open road, he never stops pushing himself forward. He checks his time, noting his progress but knowing he can still do better. But an alarm on his watch signals that his training session is over for now. It's time to return to the world where the real war will be fought. And with that, he dives back into the digital realm of Immortal World. Lin Yuan logs back in, materializing once more in the familiar gravel desert. But his return is immediately met with a deep, guttural roar echoing across the sands. A colossal shadow falls over him, something massive moving just overhead. He glances up, his crimson eyes narrowing as he senses an approaching threat. A flock of monstrous birds descends from the sky, their cries splitting the air. The system identifies them as level 2 whaling birds, low level but aggressive. In a single, fluid motion, he dispatches the entire flock with contemptuous ease. But the reward is paltry, a mere 15 experience points for his trouble. He knows that to level up quickly, he'll need to find much bigger game. And just like that, a new flock appears, this time glowing with an unholy green light. The source of the glow is a monstrous paw, its claws dripping with an unnatural energy. And it's proven to be the perfect bait for a fresh pack of desert ghost wolves. But this time, a new player is watching from the shadows, the architect of this hunt. He pulls out a small vial, preparing for the battle he's orchestrated. He downs the contents in a single gulp, his eyes fixed on the approaching horde. A system window confirms he's consumed a monster essence, boosting all his abilities. For him, this isn't a fight for survival. It's just a warm-up. He leaps into the fray, a blur of motion against the tide of snarling beasts. The wolves descend upon him, their fangs bared for the kill. But with a single sweeping strike of emerald energy, he wipes them all out. He plants his feet firmly in the sand, bracing for the coming storm. The wolves finally spot their true target, the one who orchestrated this entire ambush. From above, the scene is clear. One man against an entire legion of beasts. He grips his sword, calmly noting that his prey has arrived right on schedule. With a predatory glint in his eye, he welcomes the challenge they bring. He unleashes a flurry of strikes, a whirlwind of emerald light and cold steel. The battle is over before it even begins, a one-sided slaughter of the entire pack. A system window confirms the kill count, 40 desert ghost wolves gone in an instant. The massive influx of experience sends him soaring to level 5. And just like that, his underworld gate is restocked because why let good corpses go to waste? A system window confirms his new status, level 5 with stats to match. He knows the monster essence has made him strong enough to take on elite monsters. But grinding isn't his only goal. He's here to find a very specific person. His journey takes him to the bustling streets of Black Sand Town. Lin Yan moves through the crowd, his purpose hidden beneath his cloak. He soon arrives at a small, unassuming building off the main road. Without hesitation, he pushes open the door and steps into the shadows. He's greeted by Kansi, the local mage instructor, who seems to be enjoying his day off. But Lin Yuan is here on business, announcing he's come to learn new skills. In this world, skills are everything, acquired from instructors, monsters, or treasure. He recalls that every class has its own dedicated novice instructor, and he recognizes Kansi, the very same mage who taught him in his past life. Back then, he was a simple mage, so his new necromancer skills are still a mystery. He plans to learn basic mage abilities to supplement his forbidden class. He offers a hefty bag of coins because money is the universal language for NPCs. The instructor's eyes light up at the sight of his generous tuition fee. With his payment secured, Kansi passionately begins the lesson with dramatic flair. A wave of energy washes over Lin Yuan as he acquires 2 new skills. He now has a ranged attack, a healing spell, and a temporary invisibility skill. With his new toolkit complete, Lin Yuan is ready to get back to the grind. His quest for power leads him to the jagged peaks of Black Sand Mountain. He peers into the darkness, discovering his next hunting ground, the Cobalt Mine. The mine is home to level 5 kobolds, cunning beasts that hunt in massive packs. And for a necromancer, a massive pack is just a massive EXP farm waiting to happen. He prepares for the darkness, downing a night vision potion for the hunt ahead. He's here to level up his skills, find some treasure, and let his minions do the heavy lifting. With his undead wolves at his side, he descends into the cavern's eerie green depths. His zombie pack scouts ahead, a silent, unholy vanguard in the oppressive dark. 15 minutes pass as they navigate the winding tunnels, the silence thick with anticipation. Suddenly, his senses flare. He's no longer the only hunter in these caves. He holds up a hand, his senses telling him they're no longer alone. A sudden blast of fire erupts from the darkness, forcing him to dodge. From the shadows below, the attackers watch their fiery ambush fail. A pair of glowing red eyes narrow, filled with predatory intent. The system identifies the ambushers, a pack of level 5 kobold miners. The kobolds have arrived, their snarling faces promising a brutal fight. One of the beasts slams its pickaxe into the ground, a clear challenge. Lin Yan gives the order to attack because that's what minions are for. The kobolds roar in fury, charging forward to meet the undead assault. The clash is swift and bloody, with his zombie wolves tearing through the miners. The kobolds fight back with a powerful smash, but his undead minions are relentless. Lin Yuan joins the fray himself, cutting through the miners with practiced ease. The rest of the pack swarms him, a flurry of pickaxes and snarling teeth. But he just smirks, activating one of his newly acquired mage skills. The kobolds swing wildly at empty air, completely baffled by his disappearance. He reappears behind one of the beasts, his voice a cold whisper of impending doom. In a flash of red, he carves a path through the remaining miners. He stands victorious over the pile of corpses, a lone figure in the dark. A system window confirms his new skill has leveled up from the successful ambush. But his crimson eyes narrow. The real fight in this mine hasn't even started. He raises the fallen kobolds, but notes their stats are too weak for his needs. A system window confirms they're just common minions, not much of an upgrade. He swaps out his old wolves for the new kobolds, sending them ahead to scout. With his new entourage, he ventures deeper into the mine in search of the boss. But he suddenly comes to a halt, sensing something is amiss. He spots a hidden side path, a network of tunnels branching off the main cavern. His instincts tell him this detour might be exactly what he's looking for. The passage is eerily silent, a stark contrast to the rest of the mine. And with a confident smirk, he declares that he's found his hidden prey. He unleashes a blast of energy, revealing a pair of hidden mud slimes for a whopping 4 EXP. He senses a powerful presence lurking in the darkness ahead. With his new undead entourage, he confidently strides toward the source. And there it is. A level 6 elite kobold overseer, the true boss of this mine. A narrator's voice explains the law of the wild. The strong prey on the weak. But even the predator can become the prey in the blink of an eye. Because in this world, there is always a bigger, more dangerous fish. Back in the mine, the kobold overseer charges, ready to crush the intruder. The cavern fills with dust as the beast makes its powerful move. But sometimes, the true hunter disguises itself as the prey to lure its target in, and Lin Yuan's crimson eyes confirm he's been the predator all along. He effortlessly catches the overseer's spiked club, stopping the attack cold. With a confident smirk, he declares that the beast has fallen right into his trap. He uses the monster's own momentum to swing it completely off balance. In a stunning display of strength, he hoists the beast into the air for a final slam. The overseer roars in fury, enraged by this humiliating turn of events. But its rage is no match for the cold, calculated predator standing before it. In a flash of green light, the system confirms the elite monster has been slain. The beast is impaled by its own weapon, a brutal and fitting end to its reign. As the overseer breathes its last, Lin Yuan stands victorious in the darkness. His crimson eyes scan the cavern, already searching for his next victim. But it seems the rest of the mine's inhabitants have found him first. A kobold supervisor whips the miners into a frenzy, boosting their stats for the fight. Lin Yuan remains unfazed, confident his own army can match their numbers. With a surge of green energy, he decides it's time for his minions to get some fresh air. His pack of zombie ghost wolves pours out, ready to answer their master's call. With a predatory smirk, he declares that the real hunt has officially begun. At his command, his undead army lets out a unified, unholy howl. The two forces collide in a brutal clash of undead fang and miner's steel. His zombie wolves tear through the kobolds with ruthless, bloody efficiency. One of his minions unleashes a powerful howl, stunning the entire enemy horde. The system confirms the howl's effect, leaving the kobolds stunned and bleeding. Lin Yuan's crimson eyes narrow, seizing the perfect opportunity to attack. He unleashes his undead legion, a green tide of death upon the helpless miners. The kill count skyrockets, and the massive EXP gain pushes him to level 6. In an instant, the battle is over, leaving only Lin Yuan amidst the carnage. He raises the fallen supervisors, adding new elite rank minions to his collection. His new undead kobolds now stand ready, a far stronger vanguard than before. But a few of the original miners attempt a desperate escape into the darkness. He cuts them off, suggesting they ask his sword's opinion on their escape plan. A golden light flares from his blade as he prepares to deliver the final verdict. But the ground shatters as the mine's true boss announces its presence with a powerful strike. The system identifies the level 7 kobold boss, and Lin Yuan confirms he's been waiting for it. The beast unleashes a furious swing, sending a wave of superheated rock toward him. But in its rage, the boss overcommits, lodging its hammer deep into the cavern wall. The monster struggles to free its weapon, leaving itself completely exposed. And Lin Yuan, ever the opportunist, prepares to capitalize on the mistake. He unleashes a powerful counterattack, a flash of emerald light aimed at the beast. The blow connects, a direct hit on the momentarily defenseless boss. But his blade simply bounces off, unable to even scratch the monster's tough hide. Enraged by the attempt, the kobold boss frees its weapon and swings with renewed fury. Lin Yuan's eyes narrow, realizing this boss is in a different league entirely. The beast's hammer crashes down, sending a shockwave tearing through the cavern. He barely dodges the blow, the ground shattering where he just stood. Lin Yuan digs his heels in, bracing against the sheer force of the impact. He analyzes its power, noting it's at least 3 times stronger than a standard elite. A new plan forms. He'll use his minions to wear it down from a safe distance. A quick mental scan reveals the boss's entire skill set, from stomps to howls. It even has a finishing blow skill that deals double damage, which sounds delightful. With his strategy set, Lin Yuan gives the simple, deadly command to attack. His undead legion swarms the boss, a tide of fang and claw against armored hide. His undead wolves activate a group skill, boosting their attack and critical hit chance. The buffed minion sinks its teeth into the boss, landing a solid critical hit. The rest of the pack swarms in, a relentless tide of undead fury. But Lin Yuan isn't one to let his minions have all the fun, preparing a new spell. He unleashes a volley of spirit flames raining down on the chaotic brawl below. He recalls the boss's low magic resistance, and the flames begin to chip away at its health. The constant barrage of attacks only serves to enrage the beast even further. It ignores the minions, charging directly at Lin Yuan with a devastating swing. But our boy just smirks, activating his invisibility skill at the last possible second. He reappears behind the beast, promising a painful end for its foolish charge. He spotted the beast's only weak point, an unarmored patch on its neck. In a flash, he's on its back, driving his blade deep into the vulnerable flesh. The sword sinks in, a critical strike that finds its mark with brutal precision. The boss lets out a howl of pure agony as its health bar takes a significant hit. It thrashes wildly, trying to shake the persistent gnat off its back. But Lin Yuan is already one step ahead, calling forth his true trump card. A colossal spectral claw tears through the cavern's oppressive darkness. An ancient predatory gaze fills the space with an overwhelming presence. He's summoned his undead world boss because why fight fair when you have a titan? The giant death wolf leads the charge, its undead pack right behind it. With its armor breached, the Cobalt boss is now completely vulnerable to the undead assault. Standing atop his undead titan, Lin Yuan prepares the final decisive blow. He unleashes a torrent of necromantic energy, tearing into the weakened beast. His giant death wolf joins in, its unholy howl adding to the devastating assault. The remaining kobold miners can only watch in a rage-fueled panic. But Lin Yuan dismisses their last stand as nothing more than a desperate struggle. Meanwhile, his undead army mops up the rest of the miners with brutal efficiency. In a final act of defiance, the dying boss makes one last attempt to crush him. Lin Yuan stands his ground, questioning the beast's futile attempt to escape. He grips his sword, promising that the only thing it's leaving behind is its life. He leaps through the air, a blur of green energy descending for the final strike. The blow connects with brutal finality, ending the beast's desperate struggle. As the boss falls, the system confirms the kill, and the experience points roll in. Lin Yuan calmly dismisses the notification, another boss reduced to a number. The influx of EXP is enough to push him over the edge, leveling him up to 7. He checks his new stats, his power growing with every hard-won victory. With this, he's one step closer to level 10, and his true mission in the main city. His mage skills have also leveled up, their effects now doubled in power. But his attention is suddenly drawn to the aftermath of the battle. The boss's corpse dissolves, leaving behind a shiny new loot box for his troubles. Lin Yuan reaches out, his hand hovering over the glowing treasure chest. He opens the box and the cavern is filled with the golden light of his reward. The haul includes gear and gold, which he notes will soon be worth a fortune in real currency. He inspects the first few items, a permanent torch and a bronze rank mask, but his attention is immediately drawn to a pair of gleaming silver gauntlets. The silver rank shadow gloves are a massive upgrade, a lucky pull from a bronze chest. Meanwhile, outside the mine, another group of players stands over a field of fallen wolves. The leaders of the Bloodscar guild, two brothers, boast about their overwhelming strength. Their guild members cheer them on, eager to take on their rivals. But the vice leader is still fuming, blaming Lin Yuan for stealing their world boss kill. A system-wide announcement confirms Lin Yuan's kill, sending shockwaves through the guild. The vice leader, Feihu, vows revenge, but his brother urges caution. The guild leader wisely suggests recruiting a player of Lin Yuan's caliber, not fighting him. He decides to scout a nearby Cobalt dungeon, leaving his guild to rest. But Feihu is consumed by resentment, feeling humiliated by his brother's scolding. He silently promises to one day surpass them both, proving his own strength to the world. A guildmate tries to distract him, pointing out something interesting in the distance. Feihu's anger gives way to curiosity as he turns to look. His gaze falls upon a lone figure walking through a nearby clearing. A mysterious and powerful-looking mage has appeared on the horizon. Feihu's anger gives way to a predatory grin as he and his guildmates size up their new target. Meanwhile, Lin Yuan soars over the rugged landscape, leaving the dark mine far behind him. He reviews his latest prize, the undead kobold chief, a powerful new addition to his growing legion. But his journey is cut short as he steps in to defend the cornered woman, his voice a cold command. The lone mage backs away in terror, her own threats sounding hollow even to her. She's completely surrounded by the Bloodscar thugs who descend on her like a pack of wolves. Feihu lays out his vile intentions, promising her rewards for her forced entertainment. She raises her staff in a final act of defiance, warning them to stay back. But Feihu just scoffs at her bravery, kicking her weapon away with contemptuous ease. He grabs her by the hair, mocking the trivial mage for ever thinking she stood a chance. He mocks her defiance, daring her to keep fighting against the inevitable. Feihu's twisted grin widens, savoring every moment of her desperate struggle. But his vile monologue is cut short by a devastating blow that sends him flying. The last thing he sees is a fist connecting with his face, his arrogance turning to shock. And the fist belongs to Lin Yuan, who has finally decided to test out his new gauntlets. Feihu is launched across the clearing, his scream of agony echoing through the desert. His guildmates can only offer their best shocked Pikachu faces in response. The blow drives him backward with incredible force, straight into a solid rock wall. He's left embedded in the stone, a bloody and broken monument to his own stupidity. Lin Yuan calmly inspects his handiwork, noting the new gear is even better than he'd hoped. One of the thugs scrambles away, desperate to warn his guild leader. The lone mage can only stare as the other thugs threaten Lin Yuan with their guild's wrath. But Lin Yuan's crimson eyes show he's heard this kind of empty threat before. He recalls the Bloodscar Guild, the top dogs of the Black Sandtown starting area. A guild composed almost entirely of red-named players who thrive on chaos and violence. The system flags them as criminals for their constant attacks and looting. While not fatal in reality, death in the game means losing precious gear and levels. And he remembers these very same rats causing him endless trouble in his past life. The remaining thugs are taken aback by his strangely personal question. One of them tries to puff out his chest, asking if he's scared now. Spoiler alert, he's not. The thug offers a twisted form of mercy, a chance to avoid a miserable death. His terms are simple: sever your own arms and beg for your life. A truly generous offer. But Lin Yuan has a counteroffer, delivered with a flash of emerald steel. In a single, fluid motion, he grants their wish for severed arms, just not their own. He sends them flying with a cold promise that their barking is best saved for hell. The rescued mage can only watch, her mind struggling to process his incredible strength. Meanwhile, the runner finally reaches his destination, desperate to report the disaster. The Bloodscar guild leader Meng Hu is forced to cut his rest short with a healing potion. He listens to the report, his expression twisting into a mask of pure rage. Meng Hu rises to his feet, his eyes glowing with murderous intent, promising certain doom. Meng Hu arrives on the scene, demanding to see the fool who dared to cross his guild. Lin Yuan turns to face them, the rescued mage still watching in stunned silence. A guild member points him out, identifying him as the one who crushed their vice leader. But as Meng Hu gets a clear look, his rage gives way to sudden recognition. He sees the cold, crimson eyes that have already become a local legend. He grips his own powerful axe, a weapon of icy, crystallized steel. But it's Lin Yuan's suffocating aura that truly dominates the battlefield. His guildmates scream for blood, completely oblivious to the shift in power. Meng Hu connects the dots. The aura, the gear. This has to be the infamous Lin Yuan. He curses his idiotic subordinates for picking a fight with the one player they should have avoided. Lin Yuan addresses the leader with a deliberate, calculated insult. Meng Hu grips his axe, declaring that his guild's honor must be defended. His eyes narrow with grim resolve. He knows this fight is now inevitable, but one of his guildmates decides to take matters into his own hands. The rescued mage cries out, desperately warning him of the attack from behind. The thugs charge from both sides, a coordinated assault meant to overwhelm him. The ambusher grins with manic glee, certain his surprise attack will succeed. Meng Hu joins the charge, promising this will be Lin Yuan's final mistake. But our boy moves like a ghost, leaving them to swing at nothing but air. Meng Hu can only stare in disbelief, his attack hitting empty space. He reappears with a spectral titan, a massive wolf-like warrior at his back. The beast grins with predatory glee before bringing its colossal hammer down. The impact sends the entire guild flying, a one-sided demolition of the ambush party. Meng Hu can only stare in horror, his confidence completely shattered. Lin Yuan turns his cold gaze to the leader, promising that his turn has come. The guild leader's face is a mask of pure, unadulterated terror. With a flash of his blade, Lin Yuan unleashes the final, decisive strike. And just like that, the leader of the Bloodscar Guild lies broken in the dust. Lin Yuan dismisses the entire guild, because trash-talking is a free action. But a system window warns him that killing players comes with a price: sin points. He knows the sin points will fade, a minor inconvenience for taking out the trash. The rescued mage watches the survivors flee, asking if they should give chase, but Lin Yuan dismisses them as mere insects, not worth the effort to hunt down. He calmly steps over the dissolving corpses of the fallen guild members. And now for the fun part, looting the bodies for some high-quality gear. He notes the weapons are valuable, a nice bonus for his impromptu pest control. The mage finally gathers her courage and steps forward to thank him properly. She expresses her gratitude for the rescue, asking for her savior's name. Lin Yuan pauses, his expression unreadable as he considers her question. He simply tells her she'll find his name on the world's top 10 list soon enough. The mage can only repeat his words, stunned by his sheer confidence. She calls out, offering to follow him, but he's already moved on. He continues his journey alone through the aptly named Wailing Desert, but his path is blocked as a monstrous creature erupts from the sand. The system identifies it as a level 5 Wailing Thunder Scorpion. Lin Yuan prepares for battle, his crimson eyes fixed on his new prey. Elsewhere in the same desert, a similar swarm of scorpions meets a different fate. A new player has entered the field, his gaze as sharp as his blade. He unleashes a devastating whirlwind attack, wiping out the entire swarm with ease. The system confirms 60 kills and a level up to 8 for this mysterious newcomer. Lin Yuan reflects on his level up to 8, a welcome reward for a tedious but necessary task. We flash back 2 days to a fateful meeting in a shadowy hall. An old alchemist named Emor greeted him, offering a unique opportunity. A system window popped up, presenting him with a special quest. The task was to gather 100 paralysis herbs from the Wailing Desert. But with his knowledge of the future, Lin Yuan knew this was no ordinary fetch quest. He recalls a special dungeon that will soon open, filled with thunder elemental monsters. In his past life, the demand for thunder resistance potions made someone obscenely rich. And he knows that completing this quest is the only way to get the lucrative recipe. It's a one-time offer, as the alchemist is set to retire after this single day. And with his future knowledge secure, Lin Yuan accepts the quest without hesitation. He knows the Wailing Thunder Scorpions guard the herbs, but sees them as little more than a nuisance. With the quest secured, he decides to use this opportunity to max out his new gathering skill. The system confirms his Black Iron skill, which increases his speed and chance of finding rare items. With his goal set, he decides to push deeper into the treacherous desert. But his journey is brought to a sudden, grinding halt. The very ground begins to tremble, signaling the arrival of something much larger. A colossal stinger erupts from the sand, a deadly ambush from below. But Lin Yuan is already in motion, dodging the attack and unleashing a powerful counter. He lands with deadly grace, his blade slicing through the air to meet its target. Lin Yuan's crimson eye narrows, his focus absolute as he sizes up his new opponent. The system screams a warning as a mutated crystal demon thunder scorpion erupts from the sand. It's a level 10 monster, a true field boss with a laundry list of deadly skills. But Lin Yuan just smirks because difficult is just another word for more EXP. He declares this beast will be the first to taste the power of his new silver-cutting strike. He unleashes a whirlwind of emerald energy, a devastating arc of pure power. The attack slams into the scorpion's crystalline hide with a deafening crash, but his blade merely scrapes across the surface, unable to leave so much as a scratch. He lands on its back, realizing its armor is completely seamless, leaving no gaps to exploit. The boss retaliates, unleashing a paralyzing thunder strike that fills the entire battlefield. But elsewhere, another player meets the thunderous assault head-on. The boss follows up with a deadly poisonous stab, aiming to end the fight quickly. The mysterious swordsman parries the blow, his blade crackling with energy. He's sent flying back, the sheer force of the impact undeniable. Back with Lin Yuan, he realizes this beast is stronger than he anticipated. He stands his ground as the colossal scorpion turns its attention back to him. With a glint of green in his eyes, he decides it's time for a change in strategy. He summons his undead legion because why fight when you have disposable friends? His kobold minion charges in, landing a solid blow against the crystalline armor. Lin Yuan notes with cold calculation that its double damage skill failed to trigger. The boss retaliates with its earth-shattering pincers, crushing his minions under its weight. But Lin Yuan unleashes a volley of his newly upgraded spirit flames. The magical barrage slams into the beast, bypassing its tough physical armor. He taunts the beast as the flames chip away at its health, one tick at a time. With a confident smirk, he gives the simple, deadly command to attack. His minions unleash a binding skill, wrapping the boss's pincer in dark tendrils. The scorpion roars in frustration, momentarily trapped by the relentless undead swarm. His kobold minion leaps into the air, seizing the perfect opening to strike. The attack lands true, a critical hit that triggers the double damage skill. The colossal beast staggers back, finally feeling the sting of a meaningful blow. The critical hit lands with the force of a small explosion, shattering the desert floor. The colossal beast is sent stumbling back, stunned by the unexpected damage. Lin Yuan decides that if he can't find a weak point, he'll just make one himself. His hunter title activates, and with a flash of crimson, he promises to shatter its shell. He unleashes a torrent of raw power, a final overwhelming assault. The beast's impenetrable armor finally cracks and shatters under the immense pressure. Elsewhere, the mysterious swordsman finishes his own battle, a system window confirming his kill. But Lin Yuan isn't just a killer, he's a collector, and this boss is his newest prize. The swordsman's victory is cut short as he senses a new, overwhelming presence nearby. He looks over to see Lin Yuan, standing atop his undead titan, ready to face an entire army. But his new undead titan is immediately swarmed by a fresh horde of scorpions. The swordsman's crimson eyes narrow, seeing this as the perfect opportunity. The undead boss unleashes a devastating crystal thunderstorm upon the swarm. The smaller beasts are electrocuted, their cries echoing through the desert. And with the field prepped, the mysterious swordsman finally makes his move. He carves through the horde, hitting every weak spot with impossible precision. His blade strikes the earth, the final note in a symphony of slaughter. He rises from his stance, a lone figure amidst the carnage he created. The massive EXP gain sends him rocketing all the way to level 10. And a system window reveals his name is also Lin Yuan, with stats just as monstrous. The mysterious swordsman smirks, enjoying the rush of leveling up twice in a row. Meanwhile, our Lin Yuan inspects his own haul, a treasure trove of silver-grade gear. Back with the swordsman, he stands as the sole survivor in a field of fallen monsters. A system window confirms what's obvious. He single-handedly cleared the entire area. But his reward is something far greater than just experience points. He's just found a gold-rank skill book, a tome with a rather unsettling cover. The system reveals its name and a new class, Soul Reaper. He can't help but smile, recognizing this is a game-changing stroke of luck. The book dissolves into pure energy, its knowledge absorbed directly into his being. A pillar of light confirms it, an exclusive new power for this mysterious Soul Reaper. The system reveals his new gold-rank skill, the Curse of Darkness. He realizes it can either damage foes or heal his undead minions. With a cold, calculating gaze, he decides to test this new power. His undead scorpion is damaged, its health sitting at a mere 60%. He unleashes a beam of restorative energy, eager to see the results. The blast of green light slams directly into his undead titan. The beast roars as its health surges, a system window confirming the successful heal. With the warm-up over, he's ready to head to the city and start recruiting for his new evil empire. He pulls his cloak tight, a shadowy aura concealing his presence. But back with our Lin Yuan, a sudden realization dawns on his face. But his mother's voice cuts through his thoughts, pulling him back to a more immediate crisis. He rushes to help his father, who's clearly in pain from a household injury. His mother scolds her husband for his failed attempt at DIY home repair. But his father insists he was just trying to save the family a little money. He dismisses the injury, more concerned with picking up his daughter from school tomorrow. But Lin Yuan watches from the doorway, a plan already forming behind his crimson eyes. And as a new day dawns over the city, that plan is set into motion. His parents are still sound asleep, completely unaware of what's happening. They're woken by a noise, wondering what their son is up to so early in the morning. They walk out to find workers installing a new TV, because money is no object for a necromancer. The delivery man confirms the new items were purchased by their son, much to their shock. Even the delivery crew is baffled, wondering if this is all just a strange dream. Meanwhile, Lin Yuan is back at the gym, continuing his relentless physical training. He moves to the treadmill, barely breaking a sweat from his intense workout. The gym's receptionist offers him a VIP package, requiring a full year's payment up front. He hands over his card, having sold his excess loot to fund his family's new lifestyle. He knows they'll need to be strong to survive when the game's powers bleed into reality. The receptionist is impressed by his physique, but it's his bank card that truly stuns her. She recognizes it as a premium card, reserved for clients with millions in their account. On the phone, he tells his parents it's just prize money and that he'll pick up his sister. The receptionist can only marvel at the young man's incredible wealth and status. Meanwhile, at Siushui High School, the final bell signals freedom for the students. But one student, Lin Yuan's sister, seems lost in her own world. The system introduces us to Lin Tan, a girl with a heavy burden on her mind. Her friends gush about how wonderful it is to have a brother, a sentiment she clearly doesn't share. In fact, she questions why anyone would be jealous of such a thing. Her mind flashes back to the old Lin Yuan, a brother lost to the virtual world. Back in the present, she declares she doesn't want a brother at all. But her cold demeanor earns her the scorn of a jealous classmate. Worse still, it's drawn the attention of some local thugs who are tired of being ignored. The jealous classmate stands her ground, demanding to know what the thugs want. Her friends watch in fear, but the girl's eyes glow with a strange, defiant light. The lead thug closes in, his words as vile as his predatory grin. She recoils in disgust, warning him to keep his hands to himself. She threatens to call the police, a warning that only seems to amuse them. Her defiance is met with violence as the thug swings without hesitation. The blow sends her crashing to the ground, her friends crying out in horror. He looms over her, enraged by her resistance and ready to strike again. She braces for the inevitable, a helpless target on the cold pavement. But his fist is stopped cold, caught by an unseen and very timely arrival. The rescued girl looks up, her defiant eyes widening in disbelief. Lin Yuan's own eyes glow red as he asks who dared to lay a hand on his sister. The girl recognizes him instantly, while Lin Yuan's gaze remains cold and focused. The thug struggles in his grip, enraged by this unexpected interruption. His friends charge in from all sides, promising a world of pain for the newcomer. But Lin Yuan moves first, delivering a devastating punch to the nearest attacker. He follows with a powerful kick, sending another thug flying through the air. The rest of the gang is met with a flurry of precise, disabling strikes. It's a one-sided beatdown, a brutal lesson in picking on the wrong family. The final thug is slammed into the pavement, the fight over before it truly began. He stands over the fallen thug, a silent warning to the stunned crowd of onlookers. With the trash taken care of, he turns away, leaving his sister's friends in a state of shock. As they walk, Lin Tan asks why he's here, unable to reconcile this with the gamer brother she remembers. He explains their father's injury, and her expression immediately shifts to one of genuine concern. She asks if it's serious, but Lin Yuan calmly assures her that it's nothing to worry about. An awkward silence falls between them, a chasm formed by years of unspoken words. She realizes it's been a long time since they've had a real conversation. But this is a different Lin Yuan, one forged in a future she can't possibly imagine. Her friends finally catch up, calling out to their class president with cheerful waves. They immediately start gushing over her handsome brother, wondering where he's been hiding all this time. The rescued girl, however, seems less than impressed by the sudden fanfare. But her friends are completely smitten, fawning over the handsome senior graduate. Lin Tan can only watch as her brother's popularity unexpectedly skyrockets. One of them even works up the courage to say hello, as Lin Tan notes his new height. She realizes he's been working out, connecting his new physique to his fighting prowess. Her mind flashes back to the old Lin Yuan, a recluse hidden behind a screen, a gamer who lived in a world of junk food and virtual reality. She can't help but wonder what could have caused such a drastic change in him. As her friends say their goodbyes, she's left alone with her thoughts. The brother she knew is gone, replaced by a complete and utter mystery. He offers her a piggyback ride, much to the shock of her friends. Lin Tan tries to refuse, clearly embarrassed by the public display, but her protest is cut short as she's suddenly lifted off her feet. He simply scoops her up, ignoring her protests completely. He tells her not to push herself, his expression firm and unwavering. He reveals he saw her injury, a twisted ankle from the earlier scuffle. She's stunned, wondering how he could have noticed such a small detail. He carries her all the way home, announcing their arrival to their parents. His parents can only exchange a look of silent, utter bewilderment. But their father breaks the silence, just happy to see them home together. Back at home, the world-ending necromancer is on dish duty. His parents marvel at the change, noting his new helpfulness around the house. His mother points out how his relationship with his sister has finally healed. Lin Tan sips her drink, cautiously wondering if her brother has truly changed. But Lin Yuan turns from the sink, his crimson eyes revealing his true focus. He announces he's finished his chores and is returning to his room. She watches him retreat, the door closing on any hope of a real connection. Her optimism fades, believing he's still just a gamer hiding from the world. But a hand suddenly appears, offering her a bottle of ointment for her ankle. Lin Yuan tells her to use it, proving he's more observant than she ever gave him credit for. He retreats to his room, telling her he's returning to the virtual world. Lin Tan clutches the bottle of ointment, a small gesture that speaks volumes. She puts on a brave face, retorting that no one wanted to enter anyway. But a small, knowing smile reveals she understands this is a new beginning. Back in his room, he deflects his mother's questions about his improved relationship. He sinks into his chair, glad that his brief stint as a functional family member is over. His crimson eyes burn with focus. The real world can wait for now. He puts on his helmet, ready to dive back into the world that truly matters. Lin Yuan logs in, making a grand entrance in the main district of Winsands. Now, cloaked and determined, he declares, it's time to hunt down the traitor. He stands over the sprawling city, a shadowy figure against the desert sun. His arrival is immediately met with the sounds of a man pleading for his life. But the city guard isn't interested in excuses, pinning the man to the ground. Lin Yuan watches the harsh justice of the city unfold from the shadows. The guard suddenly pauses, feeling a chill as if he's being watched. But Lin Yuan is already gone, a ghost slipping through the city's alleyways. He knows the guards can sense his sin points, a souvenir from his recent pest control. But this forced stealth gives him the perfect chance to visit an old acquaintance. His journey takes him to a grand and imposing structure in the heart of the city. He's arrived at his destination, the local church, a place of supposed peace. Inside, Father Lawrence performs a blessing, speaking of washing away past sins. But Lin Yuan reveals he's here on behalf of a charity for the poor. The priest seems to consider his words, a hint of suspicion in his eyes. He then announces his true purpose, to treat a critically ill patient. The priest agrees, leading him toward the room of the ailing knight Doug. He finds Doug Wayne, a once mighty knight, now bedridden and poisoned. Lin Yuan recalls the knight's past glory as a member of the Scorpion Lions. He confidently declares he can cure the poison that has laid the warrior low. The knight's eye opens, a flicker of hope in his weary gaze, and a system window confirms Lin Yuan has finally reached the crucial level 10. The knight scoffs at his offer, pointing out that even the city guards are a higher level. But his bravado is cut short as the poison inside him violently surges through his body. Lin Yuan explains that the toxins are already devouring his organs from the inside out. He delivers a grim diagnosis, giving the once mighty warrior less than a month to live. The knight reveals the cure, daring him to retrieve it from a deadly desert full of monsters. A system window confirms the task, a high-stakes gold-rank quest for the antidote. And with a confident smirk, Lin Yuan accepts the challenge without a second thought. His journey takes him to the muddy clay desert, a swamp teeming with monstrous fish. The entire area is crawling with these grotesque, slithering creatures. The system identifies them as level 15 elites, far too strong for the average player. But it seems another party of adventurers is already locked in a desperate battle here. One of the mudfish unleashes a powerful tail whip, a blur of green energy. The attack connects with devastating force, sending the entire party flying. The party's leader finds himself trapped in the mud, completely surrounded by the predators. One of the beasts activates a skill, preparing for a devastating leap attack. It soars through the air, its massive jaws open wide to devour its helpless prey. The warrior raises his sword for one last, desperate act of defiance. He stares into the abyss of the monster's maw, a truly terrible way to go. He accepts his fate, realizing there's no escape from this muddy grave. But a shadowy figure appears above him, and it's none other than Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan grabs the warrior, yanking him out of the monster's path. He tells the stunned adventurer to stay out of his way. With a flash of green in his eye, he prepares to unleash his power. The mudfish can only roar in shock as it sees the attack coming. A massive blast of energy slams into the beast, stopping it cold. Lin Yuan lands gracefully, leaving the warrior to reboot his entire worldview. The rescued man laughs in disbelief, overjoyed to have survived the ordeal. But his relief turns to confusion as he realizes his savior is gone. Lin Yuan is already a blur of motion, disappearing into a swirl of green energy. The warrior can only stare, wondering where the mysterious hero vanished to. He unleashes a torrent of spirit flames, a storm of green energy. The attack tears through the swarm, their health bars dropping with every hit. The beasts roar in fury, enraged by the sudden, overwhelming assault. One of the creatures leaps from the swamp, aiming for a counterattack, but he's drawn the attention of the entire school, a sea of fangs and fury. The rescued warrior can only scream a warning, convinced he's in over his head. But Lin Yuan meets the attack head-on, questioning if that's the best they can do. He uses the beast's own head as a springboard, a display of casual dominance. He lands with perfect balance, his movements fluid and precise, and in his hand, a massive battle axe materializes, ready to bring the pain. He declares that no matter how many of them there are, scum is still scum. With his new axe, he carves a path of destruction through the monstrous swarm. The rescued party can only watch, their leader doubting anyone could solo this many elites. But he suddenly realizes the true danger isn't their numbers, but their group attack skill. As if on cue, the mudfish begin to glow, coordinating for a massive assault. A colossal wave of green energy erupts from the swamp, aimed directly at Lin Yuan. But our boy seems completely unfazed, almost intrigued by the incoming attack. The system confirms it's a debuff skill, designed to inflict confusion and hallucinations. But Lin Yuan recognizes this trick from his past life and prepares a counter of his own. He summons his undead world boss, ordering it to unleash a howl to shatter their assault. The undead titan's howl ripples through the swamp, a sonic blast of pure power. With the enemy disoriented, Lin Yuan prepares to seize the opening he's created. He equips the awakening mask, a piece of gear he's saved for this very moment. Now immune to their debuff, he dives headfirst into the stunned school of monsters. His undead world boss follows suit, a colossal shadow descending upon the helpless fish. He becomes a blur of motion, a green comet of death aimed at the swamp below. His first strike lands true, a critical hit that finds its mark with brutal precision. He carves through the swarm, each swing a perfectly aimed blow to a vital point. He plunges his blade straight down the gullet of another beast, ending its life from the inside. The slaughter is swift and merciless, a one-sided massacre of the entire elite swarm. He stands victorious on one corpse as another charges, its roar echoing across the swamp. But Lin Yuan grips his axe, dismissing the beast's sluggish attack with contempt. He unleashes his weapon, a spinning vortex of green energy that tears through the air. The axe connects with explosive force, obliterating the monster in a flash of light. The rescued party can only marvel at his power, but they know the fight isn't over yet. As if on cue, a fresh wave of mudfish emerges from the swampy depths. But Lin Yuan has a solution for that, giving a simple command to his undead scorpion. The undead titan activates its crystal thunderstorm skill, crackling with purple energy. It unleashes a devastating barrage of crystalline shards upon the battlefield. The entire swarm is caught in the bombardment, a storm of purple death raining from above. The crystalline shards find their mark, impaling the helpless monsters. The beasts can only roar in agony as the storm tears them apart. The rescued warrior panics, convinced the sheer numbers make this fight impossible. But Lin Yuan lands with a decisive thud, his plan already in motion. He calmly informs them that killing every last one was never his intention. He pulls up his hood, his crimson eyes focused on the real objective. The other players notice something strange about the scorpion's attack pattern. It seems the male fish have been driven into a bloodthirsty frenzy. The warrior realizes with dawning horror that the monsters are turning on each other. The entire swamp descends into chaos as the males begin a cannibalistic slaughter. Lin Yuan explains that the female mudfish release a unique substance when laying their eggs. This substance drives the males into a mindless, aggressive frenzy to protect the eggs. He reveals he's exploiting this trait to make them wipe each other out. Work smarter, not harder. But the cannibalistic chaos is interrupted by a deep guttural roar from the swamp. A colossal mudfish erupts from the depths, its jaws wide enough to swallow him whole. Yet Lin Yuan stands his ground, completely unfazed by the approaching titan. The rescued party is stunned, wondering how a female could grow to such a monstrous size. But Lin Yuan just smirks, welcoming the arrival of the swamp's true boss. He summons his own pack, unleashing his undead ghost wolves to meet the challenge. The spectral beasts swarm the colossal fish, a tide of fang and claw against its massive hide. But he notes that even for a level 15 elite, this beast is incredibly tough. His entire pack of wolves can barely scratch its thick, slimy hide. But he knows that if he can just stop its movement, the fight is as good as over. He uses his minions as a distraction, creating the perfect opening to strike. With a powerful swing, he carves open another fish, revealing its strange contents. He quickly gathers the purple eggs from within the fallen monster, and then proceeds to stuff them into the boss's mouth, because of course he does. The rescued party can only watch, completely baffled by his bizarre strategy. He then orders his undead wolf to drag the beast toward a specific rock. The colossal creature is pulled across the swamp, a testament to his minion's strength. The undead wolf slams the boss against the rock, just as Lin Yuan planned. The beast lets out a final, furious roar as the trap is sprung. The impact crushes the eggs, releasing their potent contents into the air. A cloud of purple pheromones begins to spread from the fallen boss. The scent drifts across the swamp, an irresistible call to the frenzied males. The entire school of mudfish is drawn in, their instincts overriding all else. The purple haze intensifies, a cloud of pure, unadulterated chaos. The monsters are left dazed and confused, completely overwhelmed by the scent. The rescued warrior finally connects the dots, realizing this is biology class, but with more explosions. But Lin Yuan isn't satisfied. demanding even more chaos from the battlefield. He summons his undead kobolds, telling them it's time for a drink. The undead miners charge forward, ready to serve the stunned and confused fish. His minions begin smashing the poison sacs within the male fish, releasing their contents. The rescued warrior realizes he's weaponizing the very poison from the male fish. Lin Yuan explains the poison acts as a powerful repellent, a scent of pure danger. The entire school of fish begins to flee, repulsed by the overwhelming odor. He reveals they aren't immune to their own toxins, leaving them helpless in the water. The other party celebrates, amazed that the entire swarm has been neutralized. But Lin Yuan moves in, ready to claim his quest items and the spoils of war. He approaches the nests, his true objective now completely unguarded. He reflects on the awakening mask, a key tool that made this victory possible. He holds up the quest item, a costly but worthwhile investment for the battle. The system confirms he's acquired the rotting gill fish oil, the cure for the night. But his crimson eyes narrow as he remembers another item he picked up. In his hand rests a small, unassuming red ball. A system window reveals it's a silver rank item, a squeaky light-up clown nose. Lin Yuan can only stare at the ridiculous loot, his expression completely deadpan. He imagines the sheer humiliation of wearing it, a true fashion nightmare. But the rescued warrior is absolutely mesmerized by the glowing, squeaky toy. As the warrior fawns over it, Lin Yuan offers him the cursed nose cover, looking utterly defeated. The warrior begs to buy the nose, promising to pay any price for the unique treasure. His teammates can only apologize for their leader's very specific and questionable tastes. Lin Yuan simply tosses the cursed item over, more than happy to be rid of it. He refuses any payment, already turning to leave the strange encounter behind him. The warrior is moved to tears, hailing him as an angel for the gift of a squeaky nose. With his bizarre side quest complete, Lin Yuan returns to the church in Wind Sands. He administers the cure, pouring the fish oil directly onto the poisoned knight. The potent antidote jolts the warrior awake, its power surging through his body. The knight is stunned that the low-level adventurer actually succeeded in his quest. A system window confirms the quest is complete, rewarding him with a gold-rank weapon. He holds the green spirit blade, the first gold-rank weapon he ever earned in his past life. A system window details its impressive stats and a powerful spammable skill. He knows its true power lies not in the base stats, but in its hidden effect. After 3 consecutive strikes, the blade unleashes a devastating burst of bonus damage. He recalls how this very weapon helped him dominate the West Desert in his previous life. But now, it's just another tool in his ever-growing arsenal. The quest also grants him enough reputation to move freely through the city's districts. But just as he's about to leave, another notification catches his eye. It seems his efficiency has earned him a bonus reward, increased affinity with the knight. The grateful warrior thanks him for saving his life, a debt Lin Yuan simply dismisses. But the knight isn't finished, offering a grave warning as a final token of gratitude. Lin Yuan realizes his high affinity score has just unlocked a hidden questline. The knight warns him to stay away from a man named Quincy, a dangerous figure from his past. Lin Yuan probes for more information, claiming that this Quincy is his teacher. The knight is stunned by the revelation, his face a mask of disbelief. He reveals that he knows Lin Yuan is hiding his true power. The knight rises, his presence filling the room, and identifies Lin Yuan as a soul reaper. Lin Yuan's eyes narrow, wondering how the knight could possibly know his hidden class. The knight explains he was part of a secret order that hunted soul reapers for the king. He possesses a unique skill that automatically senses their presence when they are near. A pillar of dark energy erupts, a testament to the forbidden power he now wields. Lin Yuan questions how the knight knew his identity, doubting such a specific skill exists. The knight explains the poison had clouded his senses, but now he can feel Lin Yuan's true aura. Lin Yuan is taken aback, unfamiliar with the title the knight has just given him. And so the knight begins to tell a story from the world's most ancient legends. He speaks of the 5 great gods, but reveals there was once a secret 6th member of the pantheon. This forgotten deity was known as the Lord of Darkness, the most powerful of them all. And like most beings with ultimate power, he used it to do whatever he wanted. He granted his most loyal followers immense dark power, creating the very first Soul Reapers. These ancient warriors became his instruments, carrying out his divine and destructive will. Under the Lord of Darkness, the Soul Reapers became a plague upon the land. They didn't just kill. They twisted the souls of the fallen into an army of the undead. The world's kingdoms united to fight back, burning every temple and record of the Dark God. And with that, the Soul Reaper class was officially branded a forbidden, hunted power. The knight reveals he was poisoned by one such Reaper, suffering for a decade until Lin Yuan's arrival. Lin Yuan finally understands. His Necromancer class was just a placeholder for this legendary power. This new information throws a massive wrench in his plans to find the traitor. He realizes his aura is a giant, glowing kill me sign for anyone in the know. He asks the knight if there's any way to hide his presence from this secret order, but Doug warns that the man he seeks, Quincy, would kill him without a moment's hesitation. The knight reveals Quincy's personal vendetta. A soul reaper murdered his beloved wife. Lin Yuan takes in the grave warning, his crimson eyes betraying none of his thoughts. And so, he sets out once more, a lone figure journeying back into the endless desert. A system window confirms his return, flashing back to his conversation just 10 minutes prior. The knight had pleaded with him, warning that Quincy's hatred for soul reapers is absolute. But Lin Yuan's resolve was unshaken. He knew this was a path he had no choice but to walk. He explains that his dark aura makes him a target, a problem that must be solved quickly. Back in the present, his journey is cut short by a sudden, blindingly fast attack. His senses flare, alerting him to the ambush just moments before it connects. He hits the sand, barely dodging the blow that shatters the ground where he just stood. Lin Yuan lands in a crouch, his eyes already scanning for his unseen attacker. He looks up to see the source of the ambush, an entire party cresting the dune. It's the remnants of the Bloodscar guild, and they've been hunting him for days. Their new leader smirks, boasting that he's brought 30 men for this little reunion. The thugs promise him a miserable death, their confidence bordering on delusional. The blonde one seems particularly excited, asking him to scream when his head falls. The guild surrounds him, their numbers overwhelming as a strange insect hovers overhead. It's a streaming drone, and a notification confirms the Bloodscar Guild is broadcasting this live. Back in the real world, commuters on a train tune in to the unfolding drama. The blonde thug addresses his audience, promising a live execution for their viewing pleasure. The stream goes live, and office workers across the city tune in for the drama. On the street, viewers pity the lone player, caught in a 30 versus 1 ambush. Another group watches, some finding him familiar, others just lamenting his handsome face is about to be rearranged. But Lin Yuan dismisses them as wild dogs, not even worthy of a warm-up. Enraged by the insult, the new guild leader screams the order to attack. The guild's melee fighters charge down the dune, a wave of steel and fury. From the back lines, a mage begins to channel a powerful lightning spell. An archer draws his bow, his glowing arrow aimed straight for Lin Yuan's heart. Lin Yuan stands his ground, a lone figure against the overwhelming, coordinated assault. But a system window confirms the game's judgment. This is self-defense, and for the next 15 minutes, there are no rules. Lin Yuan grips his new blade, calculating he has enough time to kill them 3 times over. He unleashes his undead legion, a tide of monsters to meet their charge. He scoffs at their lightning spell, dismissing it as mere sparks. He counters with his own thunder, summoning his undead scorpion to poison the field. The guild leader screams orders, trying to coordinate his panicked troops. The warriors form a shield wall, a desperate attempt to hold their ground. They brace for impact, digging their shields and spears into the sand. The backline mages begin to channel their power, reinforcing their main attacker. The lead mage gathers an immense amount of energy, preparing his ultimate spell. With a furious roar, he unleashes the devastating blast of lightning. The lightning crashes down, tearing through his undead scorpion legion. The archers follow up, loosing a volley of glowing arrows from the high ground. The barrage connects, chipping away at his minion's health with every hit. The livestream audience is unimpressed, already betting on how long he'll last. The thugs mock his summons, promising to grind them into dust with sheer numbers. But Lin Yuan's response is a cold, shadowed smile, questioning their confidence. The guild leader is stunned, unable to comprehend why their target is smiling. The live stream chat erupts in confusion, their mockery turning to genuine curiosity. Lin Yuan stomps his foot, and the very ground begins to tremble with his power. A new summon erupts from the sand, a massive hooded figure ready for battle. The hooded minions unleash a shadowy vortex, dragging the mages into darkness. The undead Cobalt boss joins the fray, its massive weapon poised to strike. In a single, devastating swing, it carves a path through their front lines. His zombie ghost wolves follow suit, a tide of undead fury overwhelming the shield wall. The guild leaders can only stare, their arrogant confidence completely shattered. The live stream chat explodes as viewers realize this isn't an execution, it's a slaughter. The remaining healers scream warnings about poisoned wounds, their strategy and chaos. But it's too late. A wave of emerald energy obliterates their backline completely. Lin Yuan watches the carnage unfold, a cold, calculating smirk on his face. And with a simple mental command, he prepares to end this little broadcast for good. Lin Yuan effortlessly blocks a surprise attack, his blade glowing with power. The ambusher can only stare in shock, wondering how his stealth attack failed. Lin Yuan reveals he saw the footprints because invisibility on sand is a rookie mistake. The guild's front line is completely shattered, the survivors screaming for a full retreat. The new guild leader can only watch, his face a mask of pure, unadulterated rage. He curses his own men for their incompetence, his fury reaching its boiling point. With a furious roar, he leaps into the fray, determined to kill Lin Yuan himself. But Lin Yuan's expression remains cold, utterly unfazed by the desperate charge. He raises his new blade, its power crackling with a chilling spectral energy. He unleashes the blade's true power, daring the fool to come and get some. He unleashes a massive spectral skull, a skill called the Azure Soul Curse Seal. The spectral curse flies toward the guild leader, a harbinger of certain doom. The thug's arrogance shatters, replaced by pure, unadulterated terror. With a single command, Lin Yuan sends the soul-severing attack on its way. But the attack triggers a memory, a moment of helplessness from the thug's past. A time when he was just as powerless as he is in this very moment. He remembers being the sole survivor, screaming for help amidst the carnage. Back in the present, another guild member questions if what he's seeing is even real. He realizes that standing before Lin Yuan feels like facing a demon from hell itself. And he's not wrong, as Lin Yuan looks down like a puppet master pulling the strings of death. Lin Yuan lets out a sigh, as if this whole thing was just a minor chore. The guild leader's bravado shatters and he's reduced to begging for his life. But Lin Yuan offers no mercy, delivering a final brutal end to another thug. He turns his attention to the last man standing, his voice a cold promise. He tells the leader it's his turn to taste the despair he inflicts on others. In a flash of green light, he descends for the final decisive blow. He stands over the fallen leader, declaring the one-sided slaughter is finally over. But his crimson eyes narrow, his attention drawn to one last detail. He'd almost forgotten about the little fly on the wall broadcasting this whole affair. With a surge of power, he reaches out to cut the feed for good. A final blast of energy obliterates the drone, ending the broadcast for good. Lin Yuan lowers his hand, noting the sudden and welcome silence. But back on Earth, a wealthy viewer is furious that the show was cut short. His associate recognizes the fighter as the legendary player who killed the world boss. The internet is already buzzing, with top guilds sending out S-class invitations. A mysterious man in a suit now has a name for his new obsession, Lin Yuan. And as his legend grows, Lin Yuan continues his own journey in the shadows. His quest takes him to a storeroom in Blacksun Town, where a man sleeps on a barrel. Lin Yuan opens the door, his face hidden as he approaches his target. The man wakes with a burp, recognizing the face of the adventurer he was warned about. The man, Quincy, dismisses him, clearly having met his daily quota for both work and wine. But Lin Yuan isn't here for a lesson. He's here to make a statement. He drops the concealment, revealing his level 11 status and his forbidden Soul Reaper class. The revelation hits Quincy like a physical blow, his wine cup shattering on the floor. His eyes flare with a sudden, violent recognition, his voice dripping with venom. The drunken instructor is gone, replaced by a hunter who's just found his long-lost prey. He grits his teeth, the years of waiting for this very moment finally coming to an end. His hand crackles with raw power, a storm of blue energy gathering in his palm. He unleashes a furious roar, his personal vendetta against Soul Reapers boiling over. And with that, he unleashes a devastating blast, intending to wipe Lin Yuan from existence. The blast of pure energy tears through the small storeroom, a storm of raw power, but it shatters against an unseen force, its power completely nullified in an instant. Quincy can only stare in disbelief, stunned by his opponent's impossible speed. Before he can even process it, a shadow flashes past him in the blink of an eye. And just like that, Lin Yuan has his blade pressed against the hunter's throat. He calmly suggests they can have a more civilized conversation now. Defeated, Quincy demands to know what Lin Yuan truly wants from him. He finally relents, offering a piece of vital information as thanks for saving Doug. He begins to tell the story of his battle with the Soul Reaper who ruined his life. The Reaper was slain, but his wife was cursed, her soul twisted into a mindless beast. Quincy was forced to kill his own wife to break the curse of death. The trauma of that day left him unable to even hold his sword. So he announced a mysterious quest, hoping to lure in a new kind of hero. He offered his life's treasures to anyone who could save his wife. It was a trap, designed to save his wife and settle his blood debt. But of the 158 people who accepted the quest, not a single one has ever returned from the battlefield. A perfect record of failure, with every challenger ending up dead. But Lin Yuan is unfazed, demanding to know the details of this suicide mission. Quincy agrees, explaining he needs someone to entertain his wife in her little game. A system window confirms the quest, Soul of the Deceased Wife, a silver rank mission. And with his future knowledge, Lin Yuan accepts the suicide mission without a second thought. Quincy wishes him luck, sarcastically suggesting he might be the one to finally succeed. He adds a grim condition. That's only if his corpse is intact enough to crawl back. Lin Yuan's journey takes him to a desolate fortress known as the Mourner's Sanctum. He walks the long, empty halls of the ancient tomb, his footsteps echoing in the silence. He downs a night vision potion, his crimson eyes piercing the oppressive darkness. With his undead legion at his side, he ventures deeper into the sanctum's depths. He recalls this place as a 5-story tomb for all the town's fallen NPCs, and right on cue, one of the residents bursts from its coffin to offer a warm welcome. The tomb's own guardians are already at work, impaling the lesser undead. Lin Yuan knows this place is crawling with zombies, skeletons, and ghosts. A system breakdown reveals the dungeon's structure, with each floor growing in power. The difficulty ramps up from skeletons to ghosts and finally to ghouls. The 4th floor is home to a particularly nasty-looking ghoul, and at the top of this food chain is a powerful level 10 monster. Lin Yuan reaches a portal, the gateway to the next level of this undead gauntlet, but he just smirks, planning to clear all 4 floors in a single brutal push. Suddenly a sound echoes from the upper levels, a sign of movement in the dark. He's no longer the only one moving through these ancient, silent halls. He arrives on the 4th floor, a grand hall that feels more like a tomb. His crimson eyes narrow, his senses on high alert for any movement. He peers over the edge, spotting a sea of glowing red eyes in the darkness below. A monstrous ghoul scales the wall, its movements unnaturally fast and fluid. An entire pack of them emerges, crawling from the shadows like demonic acrobats. The system confirms it, a swarm of level 10 elite ghouls, and they're all looking at him. With a flash of green in his eyes, Lin Yuan gives the simple, deadly command to attack. His undead scorpion erupts from the ground, shattering the floor with a devastating pincer strike. The undead titan readies its stinger, crackling with a sickly green energy. It unleashes a massive tail sweep, sending the first wave of ghouls flying like bowling pins. Lin Yuan joins the fray himself, a whirlwind of emerald energy and cold steel. His blade cuts through the first ghoul, a flash of light against the darkness. The blow connects with brutal precision, ending the creature's unholy life. He becomes a spinning vortex of death, carving a path through the swarm. The entire pack is caught in the assault, a one-sided slaughter in the ancient tomb. One of the ghouls tries to crawl away, its struggle futile against the hunter. But Lin Yuan makes sure there are no loose ends, delivering a final, crushing blow. The system confirms the kill count, and the EXP gain pushes him to level 12. He smirks, noting that clearing the floor was even easier than he'd anticipated. But he knows his necromancy is useless here. These are spirits, not corpses. But he senses a new presence, and a dark, spectral energy begins to gather around him. His crimson eye narrows. It seems another player has entered his hunting ground. Suddenly, a massive blast of purple energy erupts from the floor above. The other player is caught completely off guard, his own attack nullified in an instant. He can only stare in disbelief, struggling against the overwhelming power. The mysterious swordsman is sent flying, completely outmatched by the unseen assailant. Lin Yuan finally arrives on the 5th floor, the throne room of the sanctum's true boss. And from the shadows, a monstrous spectral entity lunges forward to attack. The colossal spirit looms over him, its presence filling the entire chamber. But Lin Yuan's expression remains cold and focused, ready for the final battle. The entire chamber transforms, a chained coffin now hanging in the oppressive darkness. Inside, a horned woman waits, the cursed soul of Quincy's long-lost wife. She licks her lips, whispering that she's been waiting a very long time for a new plaything. With a surge of power, she shatters her prison, the entire room shaking from the blast. The system identifies the level 18 vengeful corpse spirit, and she's hungry for fresh blood. Lin Yuan's crimson eyes narrow, confirming he's finally reached the sanctum's final floor. The spirit lunges forward with a manic grin, promising to tear him limb from limb. But Lin Yuan meets her charge head-on, his blade glowing with a chilling light. The boss activates a skill, monstrous appendages erupting from her back. In response, Lin Yuan unleashes a powerful counter, a sweeping arc of pure energy. The boss's appendages whip through the air, a storm of purple death. But Lin Yuan meets the corrosive assault with his blade, completely unfazed. He grips his new gold rank weapon, ready to show her what real power looks like. With a single sweeping arc, he declares her poison is completely useless against him. The spirit's own attack is turned against her, the appendages sent reeling back. Lin Yuan's blade now crackles with a dark, spectral energy of its own. Enraged by his defiance, the spirit gathers her power for another assault. She lets out a furious, soul-shattering scream that echoes through the tomb. The system identifies the skill as Banshee's Wail, but Lin Yuan knows it's not an attack, but a summon. And right on cue, massive coffins begin to claw their way out of the stone floor. The stone coffins begin to crack and splinter under the boss's unholy command, but Lin Yuan's crimson eyes show he's already prepared for what's coming next. A skeletal hand claws its way out, the first of many to answer the call. Elsewhere, the mysterious swordsman recognizes the familiar, unholy energy. He realizes with dawning horror that these are the resurrected NPCs of Black Sand Town. Worse still, they're joined by the countless adventurers who died trying to complete this very quest. The swordsman grits his teeth, knowing the boss plans to raise every last one of them. The newly risen skeletons are wreathed in a sinister, green, necromantic energy. Even Lin Yuan is surprised, admitting he never expected the boss could raise this many minions. And it's not just skeletons, an entire legion of werewolves joins the undead horde. The swordsman orders his own werewolf minions to block the gates from the incoming horde. He plans to use his undead legion as cannon fodder to hold off the boss's army. His own undead scorpion tries to break through, trapping the enemy between them. He gives a new command, ordering his minions to enter a bloodlust state. One of the werewolves roars, its thorny whip crackling with newfound power. A system window confirms the buff, and his minions are now ready for war. The werewolf's eyes burn with a crimson light, its power now fully unleashed. But back with Lin Yuan, he recognizes the boss's new champions with dawning horror. The spirit orders his own former minions, the Cobalt and Scorpion, to attack him. His undead scorpion unleashes its signature earth-shattering attacks against its former master. The blow sends Lin Yuan flying, slamming him hard into the sanctum wall. The stone cracks and shatters, a testament to the sheer force of the impact. The vengeful spirit looks on, a flicker of surprise on her face. But from the dust and debris, a new power begins to surge. The boss scoffs, confident her resurrected minion has finished the job. But Lin Yuan's crimson eyes burn with cold, calculated focus. She boasts that as a spirit, she's completely immune to all physical attacks. But Lin Yuan reveals he knows her secret. She takes double damage from magic. He unleashes a new skill, a storm of spectral skulls and shadowy bats. It's the Azure Soul Curse Seal, a magic attack perfect for this very moment. The boss dodges the magical assault, her speed suddenly increasing to an impossible level. Meanwhile, the mysterious swordsman is still holding the line against the endless horde below. He knows his own undead legion can't hold out forever. This fight needs to end fast. Back on the 5th floor, Lin Yuan knows he has to stop her movement first. He clenches his fist, channeling a new power through a recently acquired ring. A system window confirms he's equipped the silver rank paralysis ring. With a flash of blue in his eyes, he activates its paralyzing toxin skill. He unleashes a blast of pure energy, a stunning blow aimed directly at the spirit. The system confirms the hit, and the boss is frozen solid by the paralysis poison. But Lin Yuan isn't done yet, unleashing another spectral skull to finish the job. The spectral skull slams into the boss, a direct hit of pure magical energy. The blow sends her careening across the chamber, shattering the ancient stone. Lin Yuan lands with deadly grace, his cloak swirling around him. The attack leaves a massive crater in the wall, a testament to its raw power. Elsewhere, the mysterious swordsman watches the chaos, a look of approval on his face. Lin Yuan confirms the curse has slowed her down and prepares his next move. He unleashes a spectral howl, and the system confirms the boss is now stunned. He knows that 5 seconds is more than enough time to end this fight for good. He becomes a blur of motion, unleashing a flurry of devastating strikes. The damage numbers stack up, her health bar evaporating under the relentless assault. The vengeful spirit grits her teeth, her face a mask of pure, unadulterated fury. She lets out a final, desperate roar as the damage ticks away her remaining health. But a system window warns Lin Yuan that the boss has activated one last desperate skill. A massive explosion of purple energy erupts from the chamber floor. The blast tears through the lower levels, engulfing the battlefield in a storm of destruction. It's a final suicidal gambit, a last act of defiance from the cornered spirit. The entire sanctum trembles from the sheer force of the self-destruct sequence. The mysterious swordsman realizes the boss is detonating every corpse in the tomb. It's a scorched earth tactic designed to take everyone down with her, which is just plain rude. Lin Yuan looks on as the dust settles, noting only 3 of his minions survived the blast. He stands across from the weakened spirit, the final act about to begin. His crimson eyes burn with resolve. It's time to end this for good. He unleashes another volley of spectral skulls, a final decisive strike. The chamber is filled with a storm of soul-severing energy. She raises her hands in a desperate, futile attempt to block the inevitable. The system confirms the hit, her health now plummeting into a critical state. The damage ticks away, her life force draining with every passing moment. Her health bar evaporates, a countdown to her final unholy demise. Her reign of terror ends, her form dissolving into nothing but dust and light. A system window confirms the kill, another boss reduced to a simple EXP notification. Lin Yuan lands with finality, the dust settling on his hard-won victory. Elsewhere, the mysterious swordsman looks on, wondering if the chaos has finally ended. But Lin Yuan's focus is on the dissipating energy of the fallen spirit. Her soul, now freed from its curse, thanks him for his intervention. She offers a final, peaceful smile before fading into the light. Lin Yuan reaches out, catching the last remnant of her purified soul. It solidifies into a ring, a quest item that was once a symbol of love. He seems less than impressed, wondering if a ring is all he gets for his trouble. But the system provides, offering up a far more interesting prize, a skill book. With his reward secured, Lin Yuan turns to leave the tomb behind him, but his crimson eyes narrow, sensing a strange energy from the skill book. It triggers a vision of a powerful being sealed away in ancient times. The system confirms the book is a gold rank skill exclusive to Soul Reapers. He realizes the spirit was sealed by one of the Dark Lord's own followers. The book dissolves into pure energy, its knowledge absorbed directly into his being. He now has Corpse Explosion Art, a skill that turns his minions into bombs. Fun. He notes it's a powerful area of effect attack, a welcome addition to his arsenal. With his new power secured, he returns to the familiar streets of Black Sand Town. He presents the ring to Quincy, who recognizes it with a look of utter shock. The hunter explains that only in death did his wife remember the love they shared. Quincy asks if his wife suffered in her final moments, and Lin Yuan offers a simple, reassuring lie. A single tear falls onto the ring, a final tribute to a love lost to darkness. The hunter weeps, finding solace in the knowledge that she is finally at peace. He notes the bitter irony that a Soul Reaper, his sworn enemy, was the one to grant his wish. With his debt now paid, Quincy summons a dark tome to fulfill his end of the bargain. He reveals the Crown of Darkness, a special item that hides both sin and a Soul Reaper's aura. Lin Yuan inspects the crown, knowing its concealment is far more valuable than any stat boost. With this, he can finally move freely through the city without drawing unwanted attention. The system asks if he wishes to equip his new, very convenient plot device. And with a simple confirmation, Lin Yuan prepares to step out of the shadows. The Crown of Darkness dissolves into pure energy, flowing into his very being. With his aura now concealed, he feels one step closer to uncovering the truth. And with that, he steps into the sprawling main city of Wind and Sand. The streets are a chaotic mess of guilds, all desperately trying to recruit new members. But he knows only the top 10 guilds truly hold any power in this region. He wonders if the traitor he seeks is hiding among their elite ranks, but as a newcomer, he knows infiltrating these major powers won't be easy. He'll need to find the perfect opportunity to make his move. But it seems an opportunity, or at least an obstacle, has just found him. He stops, his path suddenly blocked by an unwelcome presence. A single deliberate step brings him to a halt. The armored man in front of him turns, sensing the sudden presence behind him. But a cold blade is already resting on his shoulder, a silent warning. The man's eyes widen in terror, demanding to know who dares to stop him. But his fear quickly melts away into something else entirely. Recognition. He erupts with joy, recognizing the face of his mysterious savior. The reunion ends with him face-planting in the dirt, a truly graceful moment. Lin Yuan can only stare, trying to place the face of his newest, most enthusiastic fan. It's the warrior from the swamp, overjoyed that his hero remembers him. But Lin Yuan's eyes narrow, questioning how this stranger could possibly know his name. The warrior explains he saw the Bloodscar Guild's broadcast and recognized him immediately. He apparently scoured thousands of online comments just to find a clue to his identity, and then spent $2 million on facial recognition tech just to be sure. That's dedication. Lin Yuan can only stare, wondering who spends that kind of money on a glorified friend request. The warrior casually reveals his family's company, the Han Group, considers that chump change. Lin Yuan realizes this fanboy is heir to a global tech giant and briefly considers silencing him for good. But the warrior is too busy inviting him on a G-rank hunt, his excitement at maximum overdrive. He starts to explain the details of the hunt, but his enthusiasm gets the better of him, and he promptly trips, face planting right at Lin Yuan's feet in a truly graceful moment. Lin Yuan tells him to get lost, wondering why he's wasting his breath on this clumsy fool. But Han Yu points out that a player of his caliber doesn't need a team. He reveals the true prize, a chance to impress the Black Tree Guild scouts. The name catches Lin Yuan's attention. The Black Tree Guild is one of the top 10. Han Yu sighs in defeat, assuming he'll have to face the hunt alone. But Lin Yuan suddenly asks for the time, his interest now clearly piqued. The warrior is stunned by the sudden change of heart, his hope reignited. Lin Yuan repeats the question, his focus now locked on the upcoming hunt. Han Yu is overjoyed, confirming the time and that Lin Yuan has agreed to join. Lin Yuan tells him to drop the formalities, as his new partner celebrates a bit too hard. But our boy is all business, reminding him that they need to prepare for the battle ahead. Han Yu can only cover his mouth, trying to contain his overwhelming excitement. Their destination is marked by a grim and familiar symbol of death. They arrive at the Vulture Bandits' camp, a desolate ruin under a pale sky, and their arrival is immediately met with a violent, ground-shaking explosion. Inside, another party is already fighting for their lives against a tide of undead. But Lin Yuan remains completely calm, a green aura flaring around him. The system identifies their foes. Level 12 Undead Vulture Bandits. Han Yu suggests a coordinated assault as the undead horde closes in around them. But Lin Yuan just cracks his knuckles, ready to handle this little problem himself. The bandits laugh, completely unaware they're about to become EXP fodder. The undead vulture bandit lets out a guttural cry, its red eyes glowing with malice. But Lin Yuan simply extends a hand, giving the silent, deadly command to attack. He becomes a whirlwind of emerald light, carving a path through the undead horde. One of the bandits tries a ranged attack, hurling its spinning scimitar through the air. Lin Yuan watches the incoming projectile, completely unfazed by the desperate move. The blade shatters the ground, missing him by a hair's breadth as he sidesteps with ease. The bandit can only stare in shock, unable to comprehend his impossible speed. Before it can recover, Lin Yuan is already upon it, his blade descending for the kill. The system struggles to keep up as the kill count climbs, a testament to his brutal efficiency. He lands with a decisive thud, the last of the bandits falling at his feet. Lin Yuan looks around, wondering where the camp's leader has gone. The bandit's throne is empty. It seems the boss has vanished into thin air. The system identifies the level 19 Vulture Bandit Chieftain, a master of stealth. And right on cue, the boss activates its backstab skill, aiming for a cheap shot. But Lin Yuan activates a new skill of his own, the aptly named Corpse Explosion Art. The chieftain carves through spectral minions, completely unaware of the trap. With a glint in his eye, Lin Yuan prepares to detonate his undead decoys. A massive explosion of green energy tears through the bandit camp. The boss is caught in the blast, its surprise attack turning into a fiery failure. It's sent crashing into the ruins, a brutal lesson in ambushing a necromancer. But Lin Yuan is already descending, a green comet of pure destructive force. He activates his shadow gloves, delivering a devastating punch to the stunned chieftain. The impact creates a massive explosion, obliterating the boss in a flash of light. As the dust settles, the system confirms the kill and his level up to 13. His gold rank skills have also leveled up, their power growing with every battle. He takes a moment to review his new, more destructive toolkit. But why stop there? He uses a skill scroll to push his power even further. He reflects on his upgrades, his Corpse Explosion Art now even more potent. And with 130 new undead, his army is more than ready for the next fight. He inspects his new prizes, the bandit captain and the lord, now his loyal servants. He notes that his new bandit lord gained an extra poison skill upon resurrection. He recalls his giant death wolf also learned a new fury skill after being revived. Lin Yuan realizes that reviving lord rank monsters grants them a bonus ability, a very interesting exploit. A system window announces that the official hunting campaign is just 2 hours away. A confident smirk spreads across his face. He's more than ready for what's to come. With his preparations complete, he declares it's time to move out. Their journey takes them to a desolate, rocky clearing, the site of the upcoming hunt. But Lin Yuan's attention is immediately drawn to his partner's questionable fashion choice. He asks if Han Yu is trying to cosplay as a Golden Knight statue, because that's a look. Han Yu proudly boasts about his custom armor, promising he won't be a burden today. but his speech is cut short as his armor begins to malfunction spectacularly. Lin Yuan can only stare as his partner's leg armor completely falls off. He's left speechless by the sight of the Golden Knight in his boxer shorts. Lin Yuan sarcastically notes it's a very unique style of segmented armor. Han Yu insists the blacksmith promised him this was the latest fashion trend. His flustered attempt to fix his gear only makes things worse. He panics, his helmet now completely blocking his vision, and begs for help. Blind and clumsy, he promptly trips over his own feet and faceplants directly into Lin Yuan, who is so very tired of this. A final, resounding pop signals the complete failure of his expensive armor. Han Yu looks up from the ground. His dignity is shattered as his armor. But his personal crisis is interrupted by a new, imposing figure. The system identifies him as Zhao Kui, a captain from the Black Tree Guild. Han Yu feels a chill, sensing the predatory gaze of a venomous snake. But a hand suddenly grabs him, pulling him from his daze. Lin Yuan yanks him to his feet as Zhao Kui mocks his ridiculous armor. The guild captain then turns his attention to Lin Yuan, his gaze dismissive. But Lin Yuan's crimson eyes meet the challenge with cold, unwavering intensity. Zhao Kui's smirk falters, enraged by this rookie's silent defiance. He opens his mouth to assert his authority, but the two already look like a unit. But their standoff is interrupted by another group, calling out for someone named Han Qing. The document in his hand shows a picture of Han Yu, but with a different name. The guild member studies the photo, his eyes scanning the crowd for a match. He quickly spots his target, pointing out the man in the ridiculously shiny armor. The entire group erupts in laughter, mocking Han Yu's very questionable fashion choices. But Han Yu cheerfully confirms his identity and introduces Lin Yuan as his companion. The friendly atmosphere is shattered by the cold, sharp sound of a drawn sword. The guild member threatens Lin Yuan, dismissing him as a worthless tag-along. Lin Yuan remains silent, his shadowed expression showing he's heard it all before. But a new voice cuts in, as their captain arrives to de-escalate the situation. But the captain's hand clamps down on the blade, stopping the attack cold. He tells his men to be grateful for this opportunity, a warning Han Yu takes a little too seriously. An official with an eye patch announces that the roll call for the hunt is about to begin. The other players are a mix of nervous and excited, clearly in awe of the major guild. But Lin Yuan's eyes scan the crowd, noting they're all just rookies fresh to the main city. With the count complete, Zhao Kui leads them into a massive cavern, declaring it's time to move out. He boasts that with the Black Tree Guild leading the charge, they have nothing to fear. His guild members roar in agreement, their confidence now at an all-time high. Han Yu, now in much more practical armor, has somehow acquired a tiny flag. He waves it like a tour guide, excitedly telling Lin Yuan about the slimes ahead, much to our boy's silent despair. But Lin Yuan stands apart, a lone predator in a field of sheep. His crimson eyes narrow, sensing the thrilling scent of battle on the wind. The entire party descends into the icy depths of the melted Bloodscar cave. They soon reach a fork in the road, noting the unsettling lack of monsters. The rookies turn to Captain Zhao, asking which of the three paths they should take. With a cold, calculating look, he suggests they split up to cover more ground. The other players immediately protest, fearing they'll be picked off one by one. But a guild member calms them, explaining the captain has already scouted ahead for their safety. The rookies are stunned, impressed by their leader's apparent foresight. Zhao Kui smirks, confirming that two paths are safe while the middle one is a death trap. He lays out his plan. The guild will take the dangerous middle path for the greater good. He asks for their thoughts, a predatory grin betraying his true intentions. The rookies are completely sold, praising the guild's thoughtful and selfless strategy. But Lin Yuan cuts through the noise, declaring he and Han Yu will take the left path. Zhao Kui agrees, mockingly asking if anyone else wants to join the odd couple. The other players whisper among themselves, dismissing Han Yu as unreliable. They then turn on Lin Yuan, assuming he's just a handsome but weak player in hiding. The captain feigns disappointment, noting their unfortunate lack of popularity. Lin Yuan ignores them all, simply telling his new partner to follow his lead. And so, the two walk into the darkness alone, right into Zhao Kui's trap. Zhao Kui watches them leave, dismissing the two as ignorant fools walking to their doom. Meanwhile, deep in the cavern, the air grows cold and heavy with anticipation. The only sound is the steady drip of water in the oppressive, icy silence. They venture deeper, the path now lined with seemingly harmless slimes. Han Yu notes the sudden drop in temperature, sensing that something is very wrong. He adds that he feels a pair of eyes on them, a feeling that's growing stronger. Lin Yuan confirms his partner's fears. They are indeed being watched. Han Yu is stunned, questioning how this is possible when Zhao promised a safe path. But Lin Yuan just smirks, explaining the obvious. They're being used as bait. Han Yu demands to know why he didn't warn him about the trap sooner. Lin Yuan simply asks if he should expose the captain's little scheme. Instead, he grabs one of the slimes, deciding to spring the trap himself. He explains he's curious to see just how many creatures they can lure out. The two now stand before a massive cavern, the source of the hidden threat. And from the oppressive darkness, a sea of glowing red eyes stares back. A horde of level 16 elite Iron Eater lizards emerges, ready for a fight. One of the beasts slams its powerful tail down, shattering the icy floor. But Han Yu unleashes a massive ring of fire, proving he's not just comic relief. The fiery vortex engulfs the entire lizard horde in a storm of flames. But one of the beasts activates a shield, deflecting the magical assault with ease. Meanwhile, on the middle path, the Black Tree Guild begins their own assault. His subordinate gloats about how their plan to use scapegoats is working perfectly. Zhao Kui explains they'll let the other teams weaken the monsters first. Then, his guild will swoop in to claim all the glory with minimal effort. A fresh pack of lizards descends upon him, but he remains completely unfazed. He smirks, welcoming the challenge with a truly punchable level of confidence. He tears through the beasts, a blur of motion and brutal efficient strikes. He stands victorious, declaring that scum will always be at the bottom of the food chain. But back on the safe path, Han Yu can only stare in shock. The system confirms the lizard has activated a powerful iron tail strike. But Lin Yuan's new undead bandits have skills of their own, like a ranged scimitar throw. They combine it with stealth and backstab, a perfect ambush for the unsuspecting lizards. Han Yu can only stare, wondering when Lin Yuan had time to build an entire undead army. He declares this is even more impressive than the swamp battle, his awe reaching new heights. Lin Yuan calmly reminds him that he did mention he was making preparations. The realization hits Han Yu. This entire legion was built in less than a single day. A system window confirms the result. 55 elite lizards wiped from existence. Lin Yuan stands over the carnage, noting his minions' efficiency wasn't half bad. Han Yu can only look on with stars in his eyes, his hero worship now at maximum level. But his admiration is cut short as the very ground begins to tremble beneath his feet. Han Yu calls out to Lin Yuan, his face a mask of sudden alarm. He decides to investigate alone, wanting to prove he's not just dead weight. He follows the tremors, cautiously approaching the source of the disturbance. But just as he gets close, the shaking suddenly stops. He looks around, a sense of unease growing in the sudden silence. A massive, fleshy appendage erupts from the ground, and he meets it with a desperate swing. His face drains of color as he realizes his attack did absolutely nothing. The colossal tentacle looms over him, completely unfazed by his blade. He can only stare in horror, wondering what kind of monster he's just provoked. The appendage whips forward with blinding speed, and he braces for an impact he can't possibly survive. The tentacle slams down, and Han Yu can only scream for help. The forked appendage whips through the air with impossible speed. It wraps around him in an instant, its grip tightening like a vice. He's dragged screaming into the darkness, pulled beneath the cavern floor. He accepts his fate, realizing this is the end of his short, clumsy journey. But a flash of cyan light cuts through the oppressive darkness. Lin Yuan arrives, severing the tentacle and dismissing the beast's cheap tricks. The appendage recoils, spraying the cavern with its dark, viscous blood. He grabs his partner by the collar because this is not a gentle rescue. With a powerful swing, he tosses Han Yu to safety like a sack of potatoes. Han Yu screams a warning, urging Lin Yuan to escape before the monster emerges. But the ground shatters, sharp spikes tearing through the cavern floor. Han Yu's face drains of color. He knows they're out of time. A level 20 iron-eating iguana bursts forth, a true boss-class monster. He panics, realizing the mission briefing left out one very large, very angry detail. He apologizes, offering to sacrifice himself so Lin Yuan can escape. But Lin Yuan just smirks, questioning if this is what passes for terrifying. His crimson eyes narrow. For him, this isn't a threat. It's just prey. The beast charges forward, its glowing eyes fixed on the two intruders. But Lin Yuan meets the charge head-on, his blade raised for the kill. He orders his undead vulture bandits to unleash a coordinated aerial assault. A volley of spinning scythes rains down upon the colossal beast. But the boss counters with a powerful iron tail sweep, deflecting the projectiles. The blades spark harmlessly against its impenetrable, scaly hide. But the aerial assault was just a feint, creating the perfect opening. He unleashes his Azure Spirit Seal, a storm of spectral skulls. The magical barrage slams into the beast, bypassing its physical defenses. He lands with deadly grace, his glowing blade ready for the next phase. The attack leaves a glowing gash, the first real damage the beast has taken. He's found its weak point, a chink in its otherwise perfect armor. Lin Yuan's crimson eyes narrow, realizing his powerful spell barely singed the beast. Enraged by the attack, the colossal iguana lets out a furious guttural roar. The system confirms its next move, a high-pressure blast of toxic sand breath. It unleashes the attack, a massive wave of corrosive energy tearing through the cavern. Han Yu can only scream a desperate warning, convinced his new friend is done for. The toxic blast slams into the ground, the sheer force shaking the entire cave. But Lin Yuan stands his ground, bracing against the corrosive storm. The ground melts into a bubbling pool of acid, a truly lovely new feature for the cavern floor. He admits to himself that this boss is proving to be a tougher fight than he expected. But there's no time to strategize, as a massive shadow descends for another attack. But Lin Yuan just leaps over the attack, declaring, "This just makes things more exciting." With a confident smirk, he summons a new champion to the field. An armored, eagle-headed warrior descends, a new undead minion for his collection. The new summon clashes with the boss, letting out a fierce battle cry. The impact sends his minion reeling, but it's far from defeated. Han Yu can only stare, wondering just how deep Lin Yuan's undead army goes. His awe quickly turns to pure fanboy glee. He finds the new summon majestic. The eagle warrior charges back in, a blur of motion against the colossal beast. The system confirms it's activating a backstab skill, aiming for a critical hit. But the boss activates a defensive skill, its hide hardening into an impenetrable fortress. The boss's tail whips around, a blur of blue scales and raw power. Lin Yuan's eyes flare as he shouts a desperate warning to his minion. But it's too late. The attack is deflected with impossible speed and precision. Han Yu is stunned, wondering if the beast has eyes in the back of its head. Lin Yuan considers the question, his gaze fixed on the colossal iguana. His minion's relentless assault is met with perfect, impossible counters every time. He recalls that lizards have poor static vision, struggling to see stationary targets. But their senses for motion, sound, and heat are incredibly sharp. Their sensitivity to movement is basically a built-in biological aimbot. A new plan forms, and Lin Yuan smirks. He'll make the beast entrap itself. The colossal beast roars, its armored hide deflecting every attack with ease. Lin Yuan challenges it, ready to test his fire against its impenetrable scales. He charges forward, a lone figure against a mountain of muscle and fury. The beast unleashes a devastating tail whip, but Lin Yuan is already a blur of motion. He closes the distance, ensuring the monster's full attention is locked onto him. From the sidelines, Han Yu can only scream a desperate and frankly unhelpful warning. He points out the obvious. The fireballs are useless against its ironclad defenses. But his panic turns to confusion as he realizes where Lin Yuan is running. He's heading straight for the pile of fallen lizards, a truly questionable battle plan. Lin Yuan descends upon the corpses, a silent predator setting the stage for his trap. With a glint in his eye, Lin Yuan decides it's time to spring his trap. He digs his heels in, making a sharp turn to lead the beast into position. The colossal iguana follows, completely unaware of the glowing corpses around it. It finally realizes its mistake, but it's far too late to stop its momentum. Lin Yuan taunts the beast, questioning if it's too dumb to know when to hit the brakes. The iguana can only roar in fury, having walked right into the kill zone. He activates his corpse explosion art, promising the beast a feast of destruction. A massive chain reaction of green energy tears through the cavern floor. Lin Yuan smirks, confirming that the beast's impenetrable armor has finally been breached. The boss roars in agony, its defenses shattered as Lin Yuan prepares the final blow. The cavern floor cracks and splinters under the force of the blast. Lin Yuan leaps into the air, ordering his eagle warrior to attack from the left. He lands with a ground-shattering thud, his focus absolute. The colossal beast slams its own claws down, matching his ferocity. He's found its final weakness. It can't track two attackers at once. His eagle warrior seizes the opening, its massive claws poised to strike. As the beast is distracted, Lin Yuan unleashes another devastating blast. The iguana retaliates, its massive jaws opening wide for a final desperate bite. But its eyes only reflect the image of its own impending doom. He promises this final strike will send the beast straight to hell. The final blow lands true, a system window confirming a direct hit on the beast's weak point. The massive influx of EXP sends him rocketing all the way to level 14. And with that, The colossal iron-eating iguana lies broken on the cavern floor. A few minutes later, he's already raised the fallen lizards, healing his newly expanded army. He reviews his upgraded Dark Curse skill, its power now even more potent. He calculates that another skill scroll will push its power to the next level. He stands before his newest prize, noting the sacrifice of minions was well worth it. The system confirms it. A level 20 undead titan has just joined his legion. With a cold, calculating gaze, he declares this beast will now be his shield. Meanwhile, Han Yu is absolutely buried in loot, ready to start counting his new fortune. But Lin Yuan stops him, explaining that the hunt isn't over until all the rats are dead. Meanwhile, on the other path, the Black Tree Guild stands over their own field of fallen lizards. Captain Zhao Kui dismisses the other players as fools, not even worth his attention. His men praise his brilliant strategy of using others as bait before they swoop in for the kill. With a decisive step, the captain prepares to claim his ill-gotten rewards. He gives the order to move out and collect the loot from the fallen monsters, but his victory speech is cut short by a sudden, violent tremor. The entire cavern floor erupts in a storm of razor-sharp ice spikes. Zhao Kui roars in fury, demanding to know who dared to ambush his guild. And in the distance, he sees two familiar figures standing calmly amidst the chaos. Lin Yuan taunts them, offering to collect the loot since they seem to be hesitating. The guild members can only stare, shocked they survived the Iron Iguana. Han Yu is furious, calling out the Black Tree Guild for their cowardly tactics. But one of the thugs just scoffs, saying it's an honor to be their stepping stone. Captain Zhao Kui seethes, rationalizing that they must have just gotten lucky. As Han Yu calls them shameless, Lin Yuan watches on with cold indifference. The captain's gaze falls on Lin Yuan, deciding this annoying rookie needs to be silenced. One of his men approaches, declaring that their lucky streak is officially over. He unleashes a devastating swing, a massive flail aimed right at them. But Lin Yuan steps forward, telling his partner to stand back as he prepares to block. Lin Yuan meets the attack with his blade, questioning if the thug really thinks he stands a chance alone. The guild member puts all his strength into the swing, his knuckles white on the chain. The sheer force of the blow sends Lin Yuan flying backward into the cavern wall, but he lands with perfect balance, his crimson eyes betraying a hint of surprise. The thug scoffs, mocking the toy sword and the brat who dares to wield it. In response, Lin Yuan unleashes a torrent of spectral energy, a far more impressive toy. The massive soul curse flies forward, a storm of emerald death aimed at the arrogant thug. The guild member can only raise his weapon in a desperate, futile attempt to block. The attack connects with explosive force, engulfing the battlefield in a cloud of dust. The thug looks around in the smoke, demanding to know where his target has disappeared to. But Lin Yuan is already behind him, his blade a cold promise at the thug's throat. He explains that those who survive on luck alone should learn a valuable lesson, and that lesson is to always sleep with one eye open. He stands over the fallen thug, another piece of trash taken out. But Captain Zhao Kui looms behind him, declaring that waste has a short lifespan. Lin Yuan's senses flare, detecting the captain's surprise attack from behind. Zhao Kui brings his massive mace down, promising to end this right now. The weapon crashes down with devastating force, shattering the cavern floor. Han Yu can only scream in terror, convinced his new friend is done for. But it seems the third party has finally arrived, ready to join the chaotic brawl. But the attack is stopped by a new arrival, who declares he's tired of their games. The flail-wielding thug charges the newcomer, screaming for him to die. But the swordsman's gaze is cold and the thug's confidence shatters instantly. He catches the chain with a single hand, questioning the thug's rank. The guild member can only stare in disbelief, his attack completely neutralized. A predatory smile spreads across the swordsman's face. He's clearly enjoying this. A surge of dark energy erupts, and the thug screams as his life force is drained away. He then turns to Lin Yuan, offering a hand to the man he just saved. The flail-wielding thug recoils, his hand now broken from the brief exchange. But the handshake is a test, his grip tightening with a flash of crimson in his eye. But Lin Yuan breaks the stalemate, delivering a powerful kick to the stunned guild captain. The sheer force of the blow sends the captain's allies stumbling back. The flail-wielding thug struggles to his feet, admitting he underestimated the newcomer. But his humiliation quickly turns to rage as he screams for his men to join the fight. The eye patch official grins, clearly pleased with the unfolding chaos. The thug and his allies leap forward, a three-pronged assault on the mysterious swordsman. But the swordsman just smirks, dismissing them as a mob not worth his effort. He unleashes a wave of icy power, shattering their coordinated attack with ease. And Lin Yuan decides it's time to join the party, unleashing his own undead minions. The vulture bandits descend, and the guild members can only stare in shock at the aerial assault. The guild member's face twists in shock, his confidence completely gone. He's met with a volley of spectral skulls, a final, terrifying sight. The blast sends him flying, his attack ending in a pathetic scream. His allies are pinned to the ground, completely overwhelmed by the undead assault. The defeated thug can only look up in terror at the foot of his conqueror. He tries to bargain for his life, using his guild's name as a final, hollow threat. But Lin Yuan's crimson eyes show he's completely unimpressed by the empty words. He seems to consider the threat, but not in the way the thug had hoped. Meanwhile, Han Yu is having the time of his life, clinging to his hero. Lin Yuan promptly shoves him away because personal space is a sacred thing. He reminds the thug of his guild's internal cruelty and the high price of failure. The thug's bravado shatters, and he begs to know what it will take to be spared. Lin Yuan's terms are simple: a full roster of the guild's top players and their skills. He recalls the traitor's unknown class, a mystery he's determined to solve. The thug questions his motives, still not grasping the gravity of his situation, so Lin Yuan offers a more hands-on form of persuasion. The thug quickly agrees, deciding that writing is much better than losing a hand. Lin Yuan reviews the list but finds no immediate match for the traitor he seeks. The remaining thugs ask if their cooperation has finally earned them their freedom. Lin Yuan offers a chilling smile, confirming he can let them go, but not that he will. The thugs express their profound gratitude, believing they've been spared. But Lin Yuan unleashes his own form of justice for their past crimes. He strips them of their gear, a fitting end for a guild of looters. The system details the spoils of war, a mix of silver and bronze rank items. Lin Yuan inspects one of the swords, his expression unreadable, but Han Yu interrupts, excitedly presenting a treasure chest they also found. Lin Yuan offers to share, but Han Yu vehemently refuses the charity. He insists on paying for the items, his hero worship reaching new financial heights. Lin Yuan can only sigh, clearly tired of his partner's overwhelming enthusiasm. He gives Han Yu all the loot, who happily agrees to pay for the privilege. The system confirms the payment, a nice little bonus for his troubles. Outside the cave, Lin Yuan reflects that silver gear is still a decent haul for now, but Han Yu seems hesitant, wanting to bring something important to his attention. He warns that the Black Tree Guild is known for taking their grudges into the real world. Lin Yuan just waves him off, dismissing the guild as mere insects he already knows how to handle. Back in reality, his mother's voice pulls him from the game, calling him for dinner. He logs off, his crimson eyes still sharp as he rises from his chair. He reaches for his bedroom door, ready to return to his family life. But a menacing figure in a suit and helmet is waiting for him on the other side. Lin Yuan's calm demeanor is broken by a flash of surprise, his guard instantly up. But the menacing figure is revealed to be none other than his own father. The man seems flustered, as if he's just been caught red-handed. He quickly removes the helmet, trying to play it off as a simple inspection. Lin Yuan questions the sudden purchase, his father's nervous expression saying it all. He offers a flimsy excuse, claiming it was found in his sister's room. A likely story. But Lin Yuan's mind is already elsewhere, recalling his sister's own hidden power from his past life. His mother's voice cuts through the awkwardness, calling the two men to dinner. At the table, Lin Yuan listens to their banter, his resolve to protect them hardening. He offers to buy them their own helmets, a subtle step in preparing them for the future. His mother dismisses the idea, but Lin Yuan's attention shifts, wondering where his sister is. His mother assumes Lin Tan is just out with friends, but Lin Yuan offers to make the call himself. But the call goes unanswered, a cold automated message confirming she's unavailable. He knows something is wrong. She would never just ignore his call like this. His mother tries to reassure him, suggesting they eat without waiting for her. But Lin Yuan makes a quick excuse to leave, a sudden urgency in his voice. His father understands, hoping this will give the estranged siblings a chance to reconnect. Lin Yuan heads out into the night, his mind already racing with a terrible sense of dread. His memory flashes back to a dark and pivotal moment from his previous life. He remembers finding his sister beaten and terrified, a victim of a brutal attack. And he remembers his own helplessness, a gamer who could do nothing to protect her. He finds her at home, her bruised legs telling a story she won't. She snaps, ordering him to stay out of it and keep their parents in the dark. The door slams shut, a wall of wood and secrets now standing between them. Lin Yuan is left alone in the hall, his concern turning cold and hard. He recalls his past life, knowing she awakened a hidden power of her own. And it all began with a mysterious group known as the System Organization, a secret society led by a prophet who recruited the world's most powerful players. They quickly became an unstoppable force, dominating the virtual world. Their influence bled into reality, their motives a confusing mix of good and evil. And his sister was one of them, carrying out their dangerous missions in secret. He descends the stairs, hoping his worst fears aren't about to be realized. His crimson eyes glow with a cold, protective fury from the shadows. But he knows that even if it is them, things will be different this time. He vows that his sister will not be drawn into their web of secrets again, and so he walks into the night, a man on a mission to rewrite history. He moves through the city streets, his senses on high alert for any sign of her. And then he sees it, his crimson eyes locking onto his target. His search leads him to a small, unassuming tea shop. He watches from the shadows, observing the scene from a safe distance. He confirms his sister is inside, but knows he can't rush in just yet. He activates an old skill, shaking off the rust to become a ghost. His level 3 invisibility grants him 5 minutes to work with. He moves through the shop, a silent and unseen observer. With a cold, determined gaze, he decides that 5 minutes is more than enough. He approaches the table where 2 men are speaking with a young woman named Xiaopan. The man, Hao Chen, speaks of a great disaster coming in 3 years. He delivers a passionate speech, urging her to join them and protect the world. A heavy silence falls over the table as Lin Yuan watches from the shadows. He listens intently, his expression unreadable as he analyzes the recruiters. The blonde man tells his partner to tone it down, accusing him of scaring the girl. But Hao Chen insists this is for her own good, that the situation is dire. He explains that this matter involves something far greater than she knows. But his speech is cut short as he senses an unseen presence in the room. His eyes lock onto the space where Lin Yuan stands, a silent, invisible observer. The recruiter activates a skill, a ring designed to dispel any form of concealment. A wave of energy washes over the shop, forcing the hidden ghost out of the shadows. A system window confirms it. His invisibility is gone and his time is up. The recruiter's gaze sharpens, his focus now locked on the revealed intruder. But Lin Yuan plays it cool, casually walking past them towards the counter. He calmly orders a tea to go, as if he was just a regular customer all along. The shopkeeper cheerfully prepares his order, completely oblivious to the tension. Lin Yuan notes the dispel skill's delay, which gave him just enough time to act natural. The recruiter continues his pitch, urging the girl to join their righteous cause. He leaves a card on the table, a final offer for her to join their ranks. The girl, Xiaopan, seems to consider the offer, her expression unreadable. But the blonde recruiter's parting words are far less noble and much more creepy. With the recruiters gone, Lin Yuan reactivates his invisibility to follow them. He slips past the shopkeeper, a ghost on a mission to find his sister. He follows them into the night, a single question echoing in his mind. Where is Lin Tan? But his pursuit is cut short as a spilled drink reveals an unseen obstacle in his path. But his invisible form is revealed, a ghostly silhouette in the empty space. His foot lands in the puddle, a single careless step that gives him away. The recruiters stop dead in their tracks, realizing they are not alone. A system window confirms his worst fear. His invisibility is about to expire. The 2 men turn, their senses now locked onto his flickering ethereal form. One of them steps forward to investigate the source of the disturbance. But Lin Yuan is already gone, a ghost who has slipped back into the night. The lead recruiter dismisses his paranoia, while his partner wonders if their target will join. They're confident she will, trusting the prophet's flawless record of predictions. But the leader reminds his partner to worry about surviving the apocalypse first. Priorities, I guess. Lin Yuan watches the recruiters disappear into the night, his mind racing. He realizes this group is more dangerous than he thought, a threat to his hidden identity. And as a new day dawns, his search for his sister finally bears fruit. He finds Lin Tan outside, holding the very card the recruiters left behind. She seems to be considering their offer, her expression cold and distant. But her thoughts are interrupted by a familiar and very unwelcome voice. Lin Yuan stands before her, casually asking if she's eaten yet. She's clearly flustered by his sudden appearance, trying to brush him off. But he insists she shouldn't work so late, offering her the food he brought. She watches him leave, wondering why this useless gamer is suddenly trying to care for her. He tells her it's time to go home, his tone leaving no room for argument. Lin Tan can only stare, caught off guard by his sudden commanding presence. Back at home, the awkward family reunion continues. Their mother assumes he was lost in his game, but Lin Tan just wants to be alone. She brushes off her mother's concern, retreating before any more questions can be asked. The door closes, another barrier between her and the family she's hiding from. Alone in her room, she finally lets out a heavy, troubled sigh. She walks to her bed, her mind racing with the events of the past few days. She realizes it all started when she began playing that new virtual reality game. And we see why, as she's a warrior in her own right, fighting monsters in a world her family knows nothing about. Her friend screams for Lin Tan to run, promising to hold the line. The system identifies their foe, a level 5 longsword mantis with a double damage skill. The beast's scythes descend, and Lin Tan can only brace for the inevitable. But her friend's eyes burn with resolve. She refuses to let her fall. The blonde warrior stands firm, declaring she'll never abandon her post. She charges headfirst into the entire swarm, a lone defender against the tide. Her blade meets the mantis's scythe in a shower of sparks and steel. She holds her ground, her gaze as sharp as the blade she wields. But the beast brings its other scythe down, a final, overwhelming blow. The impact triggers something unexpected, a system window announcing a new hidden class. The system announces an awakening as her friend is sent flying back by the swarm. But she grips her sword, refusing to back down from the fight. She becomes a spinning vortex of steel, deflecting every single blow. But the sheer numbers are too much, and the swarm finally overwhelms her. A final devastating blow sends shockwaves across the battlefield. The mantis looms over her fallen form, its victory seemingly assured. But she rises, wreathed in golden light, her new class revealed, the Sword of Dawn. A new power awakens, a paladin born from a moment of pure desperation. Back in reality, Lin Tan realizes the game's changes are bleeding into the real world. She questions if she's strong enough to protect everyone when the disaster finally comes. She feels the new power coursing through her, a strange and unfamiliar energy. But she wonders if even this is enough to stop the coming apocalypse. She weighs her options, contemplating the offer from the mysterious organization. But her gaze falls on a family photo, and her resolve hardens into steel. She will do whatever it takes to protect the people in this picture. Meanwhile, Lin Yuan knows he can't be a 24/7 bodyguard for his family. He decides it's time to use his virtual fortune to give them a better, safer life. His journey takes him to a high-end real estate agency, ready to make a move. He asks for a fully furnished villa with top-tier security, not wasting any time. The agent is skeptical, wondering if this kid has any idea what he's asking for. But Lin Yuan just presents his card, confident that his virtual fortune will be more than enough. The agent's professional skepticism melts away as she lays eyes on the black card. She recognizes it as a limited VIP card, her mind reeling at the millions in his account. And just like that, the entire agency staff is at his beck and call. Funny how money does that. Later, he brings his parents along, who struggle to comprehend what he's just done. He reveals their new home, a massive villa that looks like it belongs on a magazine cover. His mother is stunned by the private pool, a luxury she'd only ever dreamed of. His father is equally overwhelmed by the sheer size of the master bedroom. They wander through the opulent living room, still trying to process their new reality. But their awe quickly turns to worry, concerned about the impossible debt their son has taken on. He assures his father the villa is paid in full with his gaming winnings. His parents can only marvel, proud that their son has finally grown up. But behind his calm smile, the real plan is just getting started. With his family safe, he can now focus on preparing them for the future. But his walk is cut short as a sudden sense of danger puts him on high alert. A group of thugs emerges from the shadows, their leader gloating that the hunt is over. They close in from all sides, a welcoming party he definitely didn't ask for. He recognizes the face of the Black Tree Guild captain he humiliated in the game. The captain grinds out his cigarette, a silent signal that the violence is about to begin. His men charge forward, mocking the lone gamer who dared to cross their guild. The first thug swings his pipe, screaming a threat against anyone who disrespects his boss. But Lin Yuan just smirks, activating his invisibility skill and dismissing the attack as too slow. The pipe shatters the pavement where he just stood, but our boy is already gone. He reappears in a blur of motion, weaving through the thugs with impossible grace. A single, precise strike sends the first attacker reeling back in shock. He becomes a whirlwind of controlled violence, disabling the entire group in seconds. The fallen thug can only wonder if he was just beaten by a man or a ghost. Another is slammed into the ground, a brutal end to his short-lived assault. Lin Yuan stands over the last man, his crimson eyes cold as he laments these endless nuisances. The thug's bravado shatters, and he begs for his life, offering a hidden mission as a bargaining chip. Lin Yuan's crimson eyes burn with cold intensity as he tells the thug to continue. The man reveals a secret about a blacksmith who can craft gold-rank gear. Lin Yuan recalls a similar rumor from his past life, realizing this might be true. He grabs the thug's metal pipe, his grip tightening with immense strength. He delivers a chilling warning about what happens if anyone dares to touch his family. With a single squeeze, he bends the solid steel pipe as a final brutal promise. The thug's terror is absolute. He finally understands who he's dealing with. The scene shifts to a bustling tavern in the West Desert's main city. Patrons raise their mugs, a moment of peace in a world of chaos. A hearty meal is served, a welcome sight after a long day of intimidation. The blacksmith scoffs at his offer, doubting a clean-skinned kid could ever mine 100 pieces of ore. But Lin Yuan confirms the thug's tip was good. The next step is to go mining. As he leaves, he spots a local thug harassing a woman who's clearly had too much to drink. She struggles to get away, her senses clouded by the alcohol. Lin Yuan pauses, his crimson eyes taking in the unfolding scene. The thug turns on him, enraged that anyone would dare to watch his little power trip. But a flash of cyan light is all it takes to send the man flying. The rescued woman is immediately smitten, offering to buy her handsome savior a drink. Lin Yuan's response is a simple no, as he has far more important things to do. But she stumbles after him, completely undeterred by his cold rejection. He looks so thrilled. Her unsteady steps give way, and she stumbles right into his path. Lin Yuan's crimson eyes narrow, his patience wearing dangerously thin. He catches her in a dramatic dip, a move he clearly did not consent to. She misreads the situation entirely, assuming he's a fan of impromptu dancing. Our boy can only sigh, wondering what cosmic force keeps sending him these side quests. Deciding to be a gentleman, he gets her a room for the night. He leaves her to sleep it off, his good deed for the day officially done. With that distraction handled, he finally arrives at the torchlit entrance to the mine. He unleashes his undead legion, because manual labor is for the living. He calculates that his new workforce should make quick work of this little mining operation. But his mining operation is interrupted by a sudden violent attack. The system identifies the culprits, a pack of level 10 violent moles. Lin Yuan gives a simple command to his scorpion. Wipe them out. The undead titan charges forward, a blur of spectral energy against the swarm. The fight is over in an instant, the mole's no match for his champion. He knows a diverse army is a strong army, and prepares to add to his collection. With a surge of power, the fallen moles are resurrected as his newest minions. But a massive explosion deeper in the mine suggests the neighbors are getting rowdy. He turns to the source of the blast, his expression shifting to one of genuine surprise. A colossal armored bear charges forward, about to crush a lone, unsuspecting player. The system identifies the new arrival as a level 16 violent mole lord, and it looks very angry. But another player is already on the scene, realizing someone is deliberately luring the mine's boss. The player under attack, a priest, channels his power into a golden staff. He unleashes a blast of holy energy, a desperate counter against the charging beast. But the mole lord's massive foot slams down, shattering the ground with contemptuous ease. The blast of light veers off course, striking the swordsman who was just observing from the side. He deflects the blow, wondering if the priest's attack skill somehow locked onto him by mistake. But a system window confirms it was a buff, a holy armor spell to boost his defense. A new warrior arrives, wondering why the priest from a famous party is suddenly fighting alone. He quickly deploys a drone because a good boss fight is content you just can't pass up. The priest declares he won't run, ready to face the consequences of his actions. The livestream chat is small but impressed, noting the priest's surprising agility. But Lin Yuan watches from the shadows, ready to accept this gift-wrapped boss fight. The viewer count skyrockets as the chat recognizes the legendary world boss slayer. The Mole Lord brings its massive claw down, ready to crush the lone priest. But Lin Yuan intervenes, stopping the colossal attack with his blade. The swordsman who deployed the drone can only stare, his jaw on the floor. Elsewhere, another player watches the livestream, his focus absolute. He admits there's no shame in losing to a monster of Lin Yuan's caliber. Back in the mine, the priest looks up at his savior, completely stunned by the rescue. Elsewhere, another group of players discusses the internet's new favorite topic. The bald man, Nguyen of the Fury Guild, smirks, having also seen the broadcast. He argues that the Mad God only won due to his class, but his companion isn't convinced. The red-headed player's loyalty is absolute, and he doesn't take kindly to the slander. Nguyen pulls up a feed of the online comments, trying to prove his point. But his words are met with the cold, hard steel of a blade at his throat. The red-headed player demands to know who he is to judge, but Nguyen remains calm. He dismisses Lin Yuan's fame as a product of a hero-less era. Ouch, harsh. The red-headed player asks if the live stream is still active, his focus shifting. He gives the order to move out, ready to see this new legend for himself. Back in the mine, Lin Yuan meets the beast's charge with a flurry of Cayenne slashes. He tells the stunned priest to leave, drawing the Mole Lord's full attention to himself. The colossal beast looms over him, its red eyes burning with pure, unadulterated rage. It brings its massive fist down, shattering the cavern floor with a single devastating blow. But Lin Yuan is already a blur of motion, leaping over the shockwave with impossible grace. He counters with a blast of cyan energy, ready to show this beast what real power looks like. The attack connects with explosive force, slamming directly into the Mole Lord's face. The livestream chat explodes, praising his masterful control and god-tier skills. But the beast retaliates with another ground-shattering stomp, its fury unabated. The sheer force of the blow sends Lin Yuan stumbling back, a rare moment of struggle. But Lin Yuan has a plan for that, unleashing his ghost wolves to swarm the beast. The spectral pack descends, their fangs sinking into the Mole Lord's thick hide. The beast roars, warning that a frontal assault leaves one's back completely exposed. Lin Yuan calmly explains that the beast doesn't need to understand the finer points of strategy. He's already in motion, his blade plunging deep into the Mole Lord's eye. The strike lands true, a brutal and perfectly aimed critical hit. The colossal beast roars in agony, its head snapping back from the blinding pain. But the assault isn't over, as his eagle warrior descends for a follow-up strike. Its massive blade slams down, a devastating blow aimed right at the beast's skull. Lin Yuan watches the carnage, his expression cold as he prepares to end this. With a cold, determined gaze, Lin Yuan declares it's time to end this fight. He descends with a final devastating punch, shattering the beast's skull. The livestream chat explodes, wondering who the real monster is in this fight. A system window confirms the kill, a level up to 15 and some shiny new loot. He's rewarded with a silver rank dagger and boots, perfect for his agile fighting style. The livestreamer approaches, a starstruck fanboy asking to join his party. But Lin Yuan brushes him off, claiming he has the wrong person. He's not here to make friends. Their conversation is cut short by a massive fireball, a new challenger entering the fray. But a flash of cyan light cuts through the air, deflecting the fiery projectile with ease. A new swordsman appears, his glowing blade having just saved them from the ambush. The priest laughs as a new group of challengers emerges from the darkness. It's the Fury Guild, and their leader promises to burn Lin Yuan to a crisp. They plan to broadcast the execution, eager to prove their guild's dominance. But a system window gives Lin Yuan a 15-minute pass to counterattack without penalty. The priest, however, is lost in his own world, getting uncomfortably close. He speaks of bonds and battle, but Lin Yuan bluntly tells him to move. The guild leader tries to taunt him, calling out to the loser in the cloak. But his words are cut short by the cold, glowing steel of Lin Yuan's blade. Lin Yuan moves in a flash, his attack too fast for the thug to even register. A powerful kick sends the guild leader flying, a truly spectacular end to his grand entrance. The live stream chat erupts, mocking the guild leader for getting slapped before the fight even began. The humiliated leader seethes, refusing to believe some lone player could be a threat. With a furious roar, he gives the simple, brutal command to kill him. The guild members charge, a coordinated assault of warriors, mages, and archers. The live streamer panics, convinced there's no way Lin Yuan can handle this alone. But the mysterious swordsman has a plan, activating his invisibility to cut down their backline. He carves through their front line, an unseen force that sends the thugs reeling. The guild's mages scramble to cast a dispel spell, trying to reveal their hidden attacker. But the swordsman is already upon them, his speed making their efforts futile. He flashes past their defenses, a phantom of cyan light now deep within their ranks. The guild leader assumes Lin Yuan is spent, rallying his men to finish him off. The livestream chat debates the outcome, wondering if the master can defy the top guild. With a final, furious roar, he gives the order to kill, promising rewards for the slaughter. But the mysterious swordsman is a blur of cyan light, carving through their ranks. Lin Yuan notes the narrow tunnel limits their numbers, but it's still a crowded fight. He watches the volley of fireballs descend, his expression unreadable. The magical barrage connects, a massive explosion that rocks the entire mine. The battlefield is consumed by a storm of fire and destruction. As the smoke clears, the thugs spot a figure fleeing and scream for their men to give chase. The guild members pursue their target, convinced their victory is just a few steps away. The thug boasts about catching his prey, completely unaware he's the one being hunted. But his taunt is cut short as a shadow descends from above. Lin Yuan lands with a devastating kick, a blur of red and fury. The thug can only scream as the blow connects with brutal force. He's sent tumbling across the cavern floor, his arrogance shattered. He tries to save face, dismissing it as a simple sneak attack. But Lin Yuan is already on him, a cold blade pressed against his throat. The thug's bravado evaporates, replaced by pure, unadulterated terror. Lin Yuan informs him that his friends aren't coming back to save him. And he's right. As the rest of the guild finds a welcome party of undead bombs waiting for them, he unleashes a massive wave of cyan energy, a final decisive strike. The thug can only scream in disbelief, wondering what just happened to his men. Lin Yuan coldly suggests he ask his fallen comrades himself. A final, clean strike ends the fight, as the livestream chat celebrates the perfect takedown. The thug shatters into light, another fool who underestimated the lone wolf. The system confirms his bonus reward, a pair of gold-rank daggers with a lifesteal ability. With the battle won, he returns to the blacksmith, his mining quest complete. The blacksmith is stunned by his efficiency, his favorability skyrocketing. Lin Yuan knows this is a long-term project, and now he has a pile of guild loot to deal with. But his mind is already on the next step, following the clues to find the traitor. He recalls a clue from his past life about snake worshippers, a lead he plans to follow. His journey takes him into the city's sewers, a dark and forgotten underbelly. He's on a simple rat-killing quest, but knows it's just a cover for a hidden dungeon. This secret lair drops a rare stat-boosting item, and he plans to claim it before anyone else. He follows the trail, knowing the entrance is marked by the presence of snakes. And with a confident smirk, he confirms he's found exactly what he was looking for. But his arrival is met with a massive eruption of energy from the murky water. He's taken aback, realizing the local wildlife is a bit larger than he anticipated. A colossal King Hades snake emerges, its stats completely hidden from the system. The beast lunges, and Lin Yuan realizes he's just stumbled upon a world-class threat. He realizes this is a level 60 beast and activates his invisibility skill to avoid a one-hit KO. The stakes are too high. A single mistake means a massive loss of levels and gear. The snake's attack passes right through him, his invisibility making him untouchable for now. He uses the sewer's terrain to his advantage, running along the walls to gain distance. He becomes a blur of motion, a tiny figure against the colossal, coiling serpent. His crimson eye narrows, already calculating the beast's attack patterns and weaknesses. But the snake is relentless, its massive jaws snapping at his heels with terrifying speed. The beast's fangs shatter the stone where he just stood, a very close call. The shockwave sends him flying, realizing he can't outrun this thing forever. So he summons a champion of his own, a massive spectral beast to meet the charge head-on. He orders his scorpion to buy him time, a titan against a god. Lin Yuan is confident his champion can hold the line against the colossal beast. The two titans clash, a storm of spectral energy against raw primal force. But his minion is shattered in an instant, its power completely overwhelmed. He looks up just in time to see the source of the sudden light. The colossal serpent crashes down, its sheer weight shattering the sewer floor. The shockwave sends him flying, his cloak torn from the sheer force of the blow, but his crimson eyes burn with cold, unwavering resolve. The beast's massive eye glares down, a predator looking at its cornered prey. But he knows the beast is powerless here, having been chased into a city safe zone. He's led it straight to the Western Desert Palace, a place where no monster can tread. The colossal serpent can only hiss in frustration, its power now completely nullified. Lin Yuan recalls the ancient feud. The palace's guardian will destroy any beast that gets too close. He knows the snake is no match for the guardian and plans to follow it back to its nest. But first, he needs a way to attract smaller snakes to avoid another near-death experience. His quest for a less life-threatening lure takes him back into the sprawling desert city. He quickly acquires a snake attractant potion, designed for much more manageable encounters. But it seems his recent, very public exploits have earned him some unwanted attention. Lin Yuan recognizes the man as the priest he saved from the mole lord in the mine. The priest is a bit too friendly, claiming their souls are connected. Lin Yuan is not convinced. The priest pitches a team-up, but Lin Yuan shuts him down, having more important things to do. But the priest is persistent, grabbing him and trying to sell him on joining his super god team. He even has a name for their new supergroup, but Lin Yuan's mind is already elsewhere. He recognizes one of the names as a top player from his past life, a potential lead to the traitor. But for now he accepts the friend request, a small price to pay to get this guy off his back. He offers a vague promise of a future team-up before making his escape. Back on his original mission, he returns to the hidden dungeon's entrance. He pours the snake attractant potion, a much safer way to lure out his prey. His crimson eyes watch intently, waiting for the trap to be sprung. And right on cue, a swarm of smaller snakes emerges from the cracks, ready to play. He follows the small snake, knowing that even in this nest, he must remain cautious. The path forward is revealed as a stone wall shatters before him. He stands at the entrance, confirming he's finally found the hidden dungeon. A single glowing torch illuminates the oppressive darkness of the lair. The system confirms he's entered the snake demon's lair, a tomb of colossal bones. With a glint in his eye, Lin Yuan gives the simple, deadly command to begin. He unleashes his undead scorpion, a titan of spectral energy, to meet the swarm. The scorpion roars, ready to wipe every last snake from this chamber. It unleashes its crystal thunderstorm, a devastating barrage of purple death. With the minions cleared, he finds the real prize, stat-boosting fruit. Because of course there's fruit. He holds the flesh and blood seed, the rare stat-boosting item he came for. The system confirms it's a permanent buff, though with a 100-use limit. He surveys the field of fruit, realizing this hidden dungeon is a personal gold mine. He pops a few more, the system confirming a steady stream of stat increases. He decides to save the rest, knowing he can just come back and farm this place weekly. He leaves a few undead minions behind as a keep-out sign for any curious players. But he wonders if the traitor has the power to mutate monsters, explaining the level 60 snake. His thoughts are cut short by a system notification, a call from his sister. He answers, but she just asks if he's eaten, a question that immediately raises red flags. Lin Yuan's expression darkens. He knows she would never call him for something so trivial. She asks if he can lead them through a dungeon, her friend looking on with stars in her eyes. Lin Yuan agrees, though he's clearly confused by his sister's sudden request for help. But a blonde rival mocks them, calling Lin Tan and her mysterious brother a pair of boasters. He assumes Lin Yuan just agreed blindly, but Lin Tan's friend ups the stakes. The Valley of Ashes on heroic. She relays the challenge over the phone, a dungeon no guild has ever managed to clear. The rival scoffs, calling them liars before taking a cheap shot at their entire family. The insult lands, and Lin Tan's patience finally snaps in a flash of fury. But Lin Yuan's voice cuts through the call, telling her to stop arguing. He's on his way. Now in the game, Lin Tan waits at the canyon's edge, recalling her brother's gaming prowess. But she worries, knowing the heroic difficulty is a true death trap, and fears she's asked too much. But her friend's voice cuts through her thoughts, a welcome sign of support. The system confirms Qianqian has joined the team, much to Lin Tan's surprise. She explains the rival, Wang Yan, overheard her congratulating Lin Tan and decided to be a jerk about it. Lin Tan thanks her friend, grateful to have someone in her corner for this fight. But from above, Wang Yan and his cronies mock them, questioning their family's status. Qianqian fires back, calling him out for his arrogance, but Lin Tan tries to keep the peace. Enraged by the defiance, Wang Yan orders his goons to teach them a lesson. The two thugs leap down as the girls prepare for the incoming assault. But a massive slash of cyan energy cuts through the air, faster than any of them can react. The two thugs are caught in a whirlwind of blades, their attack ending in a scream of pure shock. The thugs are dispatched in a blur of cyan light and cold steel. Lin Yuan stands before his sister, whose friend is already completely smitten by his grand entrance. The rival, Wang Yan, is furious, demanding to know how they'll clear the dungeon without his goons. But Lin Yuan is already on him, asking if he's the one who dared to insult his family. The answer is a brutal backhand that echoes across the canyon. He follows up with another strike, declaring that rabid dogs need to be put down. The rival's companion is sent flying, caught in the whirlwind of his fury. She screams that they can't enter the dungeon now, a problem of their own making. Lin Yuan tells them to wait, as he'll find replacements for the trash he just took out. But Wang Yan isn't finished, sending out a call for some powerful backup. Qianqian is completely smitten, while Lin Tan seems less than thrilled by the compliments. The rival scoffs, doubting they could ever find replacements worthy of the challenge. But his taunts are cut short by the dramatic arrival of two powerful new players. A system window confirms Lin Yuan's invitation has been successfully sent and accepted. The rivals are starstruck, recognizing the main priest of the second-ranked guild in the desert. Even Lin Tan is confused, wondering why such a high-level player would answer their call. The priest leaps forward, overjoyed that his new best friend has finally remembered him. Lin Yuan's response is to shove him away because personal space is still a thing. The rivals can only stare in disbelief, their brains short-circuiting from the confusion. As the priest defends his hero, Lin Yuan cuts him off, declaring it's time to begin. The rival scoffs, declaring that even the top guild failed to clear this dungeon on heroic. But Lin Yuan simply tells him to shut up and watch as they enter the Valley of Ashes. The team teleports into the dungeon, a vortex of raw energy marking their arrival. The system identifies their first foes, level 18 cinder lizards with a powerful flame attack. The party takes in the desolate landscape, the sheer difficulty of the dungeon already apparent. But from the sidelines, Wang Yan is already plotting to sabotage their run. His companion agrees, preparing to lure even more monsters to overwhelm them. The plan is set in motion, as a nearby pack of lizards is drawn into the fray. The enraged beasts turn their attention to Lin Yuan's group, ready to attack. But Lin Yuan's crimson eye shows he's already aware of their pathetic little scheme. The party is suddenly swarmed, a tide of cinder lizards far greater than they ever anticipated. Qian is stunned, realizing their strategy guides didn't account for this massive ambush. The enraged beasts let out a furious roar, their glowing eyes fixed on their new prey. From the sidelines, Wang Yan smirks, mockingly commenting on their terrible luck. The priest gets a little too excited, but Lin Yuan is already summoning his Thunder Scorpion. The undead titan unleashes a devastating storm of purple energy, wiping out the first wave. Lin Yuan shouts a warning for his team to brace themselves as he moves in for the kill. He becomes a whirlwind of cyan light, his blade carving a path through the remaining horde. His crimson eyes narrow, his focus absolute as he takes control of the chaotic battlefield. Lin Tan steps forward to protect her friend, ready to face the monsters head-on. He and his sister fight as a team, with Lin Yuan delivering the final, brutal blow. Qian can only watch in awe, realizing just how powerful her friend's brother truly is. He gently pats his sister's head, a rare moment of affection between them. Lin Yuan promises that as long as he's here, she'll never be in danger again. Lin Tan is left flustered, her heart racing from his sudden display of protection. But Lin Yuan's expression is one of pure, unwavering confidence. While Lin Tan feels safe, Qian is just happy to witness this wholesome sibling moment. But Wang Yan scoffs, convinced his expensive gear makes him superior to any lone player. He charges forward, ready to show them what a real top player looks like. He leaps down to engage the enemy, but the lizard just seems confused by the dramatic entrance. The lizard's tail connects with a brutal smack, sending the arrogant rival flying. Lin Yuan coldly tells him to stop whining and die after the stage is cleared. He had hoped for gold rank gear, but decides silver will have to do for now. He offers the new equipment to his sister, a powerful set of silver rank gear. The fearless armor offers a significant boost to her defense and critical damage. The rival's companion is stunned by the gift, while Wang Yan seethes at being shown up. But Lin Tan refuses the gift, insisting he keep the powerful armor for himself. He can only smile, recognizing the same stubborn pride she's always had. With or without the new gear, Lin Tan leaps into the fray, a whirlwind of steel and fury. Meanwhile, the rival's own assault is far less graceful, a desperate flailing against the horde. Her blade meets the beast's claw in a shower of sparks and steel. With a look of pure determination, she declares she can handle this on her own. The enraged lizard roars, lunging forward for another brutal assault. But a sudden volley of green energy slams into her, chipping away at her health. She turns to see Lin Yuan in the background, realizing he's secretly assisting her. Frustrated, she unleashes a powerful slash, tired of being treated like a child. Lin Yuan can only smile, noting how hard it is to even give his sister a gift. The two fight back to back, a whirlwind of steel and spectral energy. From the sidelines, Qian finds their awkward dynamic far more entertaining than the battle. With the first wave cleared, the party moves deeper into the desolate canyon. The priest announces they've reached the final boss's lair. He suggests they turn back, explaining the severe penalty for a party wipe. Lin Tan agrees, recognizing the danger is too great for their team. But from the sidelines, Wang Yan mocks him, calling him a coward who only beats minions. Lin Tan feels a pang of guilt, wishing she were stronger so he wouldn't be in this position. Lin Yuan agrees the death penalty is too severe. For them, anyway. He tells his party to stand back, a familiar green energy gathering around him. He unleashes his entire undead legion, declaring he can handle this little problem alone. The rivals can only stare, their jaws on the floor at the sight of his one-man army. But the priest just smirks, proudly listing his friend's many accomplishments. And from the depths of the canyon, the final boss finally emerges. Lin Yuan doesn't waste a moment, unleashing a blast of spectral energy. The beast's reptilian eye narrows, locking onto its new challenger. The attack connects, but seems to do little more than annoy the colossal lizard. With a furious roar, the Ash Lizard King charges forward, ready to retaliate. The system confirms the level 21 boss, a true king of this desolate valley. From the sidelines, Qian points out its insane attack power. One hit means instant death. But Lin Tan refuses to stand by, her guilt turning into fierce resolve. She declares she'll draw its attention, ready to jump into the fray herself. But the priest has a plan of his own, activating a powerful holy light skill. He stops Lin Tan in her tracks, telling her she'll only be a liability. He tells her to sit back and appreciate the elegant work of his best friend. The beast unleashes a torrent of fire, but Lin Yuan dodges with perfect control. He counters by summoning his own champions, a coordinated aerial assault. The ghost wolves swarm the beast, a tide of spectral fury on its back. His smaller minions join the fray, biting and clawing at its thick hide. The entire undead legion descends, a chaotic tug-of-war against the colossal boss. The priest is in full fanboy mode, marveling at the sheer artistry of the battle. Shen Qian joins the cheer squad, much to the rival's absolute disgust. But Wang Yan's pride is on the line, and he decides a little sabotage is in order. Lin Yuan stands on the beast's snout, a hunter staring down into the abyss. The Lizard King lunges, and the system confirms its bite skill is now on an 8-second cooldown. But Wang Yan sees an opening, taunting that Lin Yuan's solo run is officially over. Lin Yuan's crimson eye narrows, dismissing the fool with a single silent thought. The rival charges in, screaming that Lin Yuan is tired of living. But Lin Yuan is already moving, telling the fool to disappear along with the boss. Wang Yan can only scream as he's thrown directly into the path of danger. The lizard's jaws snap shut, not on Lin Yuan, but on the arrogant rival. Well, that's one way to solve a pest problem. The boss unleashes a final, devastating attack, engulfing the battlefield in ash and flame. And a server-wide announcement confirms the impossible. The first ever clear of the heroic dungeon. Shangqian is overjoyed, already asking Lin Tan if her awesome brother can carry them again. The priest boasts that he let Lin Yuan have the spotlight, already attracting his own fans. But his expression suddenly darkens, a flash of realization in his eyes. He unleashes a blast of holy fire, executing the rival for daring to attack his new best friend. A system window asks Lin Yuan if he wants to add the Ash Lizard King to his collection. He confirms the command, deciding to take the massive corpse with him before dividing the loot. But the rest of the party refuses, insisting he did all the work and deserves everything. Lin Yuan clarifies he only needs the skill book and scrolls, offering them the rest. The remaining loot is a decent haul of silver and bronze gear for the rest of the team. The priest conveniently offers to buy all the gear, promising to pay them handsomely in gold. Lin Yuan offers the loot to his sister, who remains silent as her friend celebrates their new fortune. He tells her to call him directly if she's ever in trouble, but she stops him before he can leave. He turns back, assuming she's finally changed her mind about the equipment. But she asks about his power and if he's felt any changes in the real world. He realizes she's noticed the game's effects, but he can't reveal his own secrets just yet. So he turns the question back on her, feigning complete ignorance. Flustered, she makes a quick excuse and runs off before he can press the issue. He smiles, glad she's finally seeing him as a brother again, just as his new best friend arrives. The priest and his party approach, inviting him to take on the next impossible challenge. Lin Yuan recognizes the guild, seeing a new opportunity to find the traitor he seeks. A cheerful and lively young man happily declares his new acquaintance to be his best friend and invites him to meet the guild. He enthusiastically introduces his companions, among them the beautiful and aloof Lan Yue, captain of the elite team. Next, he shows them a gray-eyed mage named Xingheng, a master of rare magical attacks. Xingheng cautiously says that he does not recognize the newcomer as an ally and does not want to take any risks in a serious raid. The sunny guy indignantly defends his friend, but the tension between them grows. Xingheng smirks arrogantly and challenges the newcomer to prove his strength in a fair trial. He promises golden equipment if the newcomer can deal half the damage to the boss, otherwise he will demand compensation. Xingheng mockingly warns that it's not too late to leave before it's too late. The hero calmly accepts the challenge, agreeing to the deal and demanding that everyone see the fairness of the terms. Lang Yu intervenes, stopping the argument and reminding everyone that the decision has already been made. Everyone must work together to complete the dungeon. The priest's companion is furious, questioning his loyalty for helping an outsider. He vows to teach the priest a lesson about relying on strangers. His eyes burn with a cold, possessive fury. He's the only ally the priest needs. Their party enters the Valley of Ashes, immediately met by a horde of ember lizards. A massive blast of fire tears through the canyon, a fiery welcome from the locals. The lizard's crimson eye glows, a predator sizing up its new meal. The party stands surrounded, a lone island in a sea of reptilian fury. The priest notes the overwhelming monster density, realizing they were swarmed instantly. A female warrior draws her blade, ordering the front line to break through the horde. The party leader leaps forward, planning to draw aggro so the others can escape. The priest's companion seethes, ready to unleash his lightning on his own ally. But his attack misses as a new monster appears, shattering their formation. The party is now completely surrounded, their backline exposed to the horde. A desperate archer prepares to sacrifice her pet, a move her ally calls futile. But a new voice cuts through the chaos as the mysterious swordsman steps in. He unleashes his own legion, a pack of massive spectral werewolves. His summoned bear meets the lizard's fire head-on, a clash of titans. The spectral wolves descend upon the lizards, a tide of phantom fury. With his minions engaged, the swordsman moves in to join the slaughter. The archer is relieved, but the wizard is enraged, vowing the newcomer won't leave this dungeon alive. The female warrior rallies her team, trying to regain control of the chaos. But the system announces another wave, a challenge the party leader welcomes with a fierce grin. The priest channels his holy power, preparing a powerful buff for his allies. But the mysterious swordsman remains calm, his crimson eyes analyzing the unfolding battle. His flawless control and tactical mind leave the jealous wizard completely stunned. The female warrior is impressed, already planning to recruit this prodigy into her guild. He watches the swordsman's minions tear through the horde with brutal efficiency. His jealousy boils over, deciding he needs to sabotage the newcomer to save face. He unleashes a massive lightning attack, claiming it's support for his new rival. Sure it is, buddy. But the swordsman sees this pathetic move as an opportunity to get closer to the female warrior. But the swordsman meets the lightning head-on, his cloak whipping around him. He stares down the enraged lizards, their hatred a palpable force. In a flash, he grabs the female warrior's hand, pulling her into his plan. He gives a quick command, splitting the targets between them for a coordinated strike. The two leap into the fray, a perfectly synchronized dance of death. The swordsman becomes a blur of cyan light, carving a path through the horde. The female warrior unleashes her own power, her blade glowing with crimson energy. He spins through the air, a whirlwind of steel that leaves only destruction in its wake. The rest of the party can only watch in awe, shipping their leader and the handsome stranger. She questions his unique skills, her interest clearly piqued by this mysterious powerhouse. She dismisses his praise, claiming her skills were just a lucky find from a book. Lin Yuan probes for more information, but she just offers him a spot in her guild. But he declines, stating his preference for playing as a lone wolf. His smile triggers a memory for her, a flash of a familiar face from her past. From the sidelines, the jealous wizard seethes, wondering what the two are talking about. The priest reports that the loot is secured, asking if they're ready for the final boss. The wizard steps forward with a fake apology, praising Lin Yuan's unexpected strength. He then suggests that Lin Yuan should be the one to draw the boss's attention. What a great guy. But Lin Yuan calls his bluff, questioning if this is a ploy to avoid paying his debt. The wizard scoffs, doubting he'll survive, but promises the gold gear is his if he succeeds. The female warrior protests the sudden change, but the wizard pushes for Lin Yuan to decide. Lin Yuan knows the wizard is a problem, but decides to deal with him after the fight. With cold resolve, he accepts the challenge, ready to face the boss alone. The party watches as he walks toward the sleeping Ash Lizard King. The priest eggs him on, eager to witness the full extent of his power. The jealous wizard smirks, confident the boss's skills will counter Lin Yuan's army. But Lin Yuan knows this fight is already won thanks to his past life's knowledge. He unleashes a blast of pure energy, a very rude awakening for the sleeping beast. The attack connects with a flash, slamming directly into the boss's face. The enraged Ash Lizard King roars, its full power and stats now on display. The wizard gloats from the sidelines, certain the level 25 boss will crush Lin Yuan. The beast slams its tail down, but Lin Yuan is already airborne, dodging with ease. He recognizes the predictable attack pattern and summons his spectral wolves to join the fray. The wizard sees an opening, ordering his party to attack while the boss is distracted. He watches with a twisted smile, enjoying the sight of the miserable mouse being hunted. But the boss turns its attention on them, unleashing a massive tail sweep. The female warrior screams for the wizard to use his control skills, but he claims it's too late. The attack connects, sending the entire party flying from the devastating blow. She confronts him, demanding to know why he wasted the perfect opportunity to strike. The priest realizes they're all too injured to help, leaving Lin Yuan to face the boss alone. The female warrior takes the blame, admitting their team was the one holding him back. But her archer points out that Lin Yuan doesn't seem to have gotten the memo about retreating. In fact, he's busy giving a free lecture on how to paralyze the boss with lightning. The beast roars, but Lin Yuan dismisses its lunge as far too slow. He summons his Thunder Scorpion, ordering it to interrupt the boss's charge. The system confirms the skill, a devastating barrage of paralyzing lightning. The attack connects, and the colossal beast is frozen solid by the spectral shock. With the boss stunned, Lin Yuan unleashes his entire spectral wolf pack on its exposed back. The wizard can only seethe, realizing Lin Yuan's summon just made him completely redundant. Meanwhile, the priest rallies his companion, eager to rejoin his new best friend's masterclass in destruction. The wizard smirks, confident the boss's area damage will crush Lin Yuan's minions. And right on cue, the Ash Lizard King unleashes a devastating wave of crimson energy. One of his spectral wolves is left staggering, its health bar nearly depleted. But Lin Yuan just activates his dark curse, a surge of emerald light at his fingertips. The healing energy envelops his minion, restoring it to full strength in an instant. The wizard's jaw drops, realizing Lin Yuan can sustain his army indefinitely. The female warrior rallies her team, seeing the boss is weakened and ready for the final push. But the Ash Lizard King activates its final skill, a furnace of pure, destructive energy. The entire canyon is bathed in a crimson light, a final act of defiance from the cornered beast. The female warrior screams a warning, identifying this as its ultimate pre-death attack. The wizard's jealousy finally snaps, screaming for Lin Yuan to die with the monster. He activates a skill, claiming he'll interrupt the boss with a lightning attack. But his true target is revealed as he unleashes the spell on his own allies. The female warrior is caught in the blast, her leg struck by the sudden betrayal. Lin Yuan leaps away, having expected this pathetic backstab all along. The female warrior can only stare in shock at her teammate's treachery. He lands safely but sees her falling, dismissing the situation as a hassle. In a flash of motion, he reaches out to catch her before she hits the ground. He pulls her into his arms, a swift and unexpected rescue. Lin Yuan holds her close, telling her to hold on as she stares in disbelief. He activates his corpse explosion, using the boss's body as a final devastating bomb. A server-wide announcement confirms their victory, the first ever clear on death difficulty. She's impressed by his calm demeanor, but he just plays it off as simple luck. She asks to be friends, hoping to team up for more difficult dungeons in the future. The system confirms the friend request from the warrior, whose name is Leng Yu, and with a simple confirmation, a new, powerful alliance is formed. The priest holds the loot chest, teasing his leader for her sudden shyness. The jealous wizard complains about the rescue, as Leng Yu finally asks to be put down. A system window confirms Lin Yuan's contribution to the clear was a staggering 87%, and with the numbers to back him up, he turns to collect on the wizard's little bet. The wizard tries to change the subject, suggesting they divide the loot now that the fight is over. But Lin Yuan isn't interested in drops. He's here to collect the gold rank gear the wizard owes him. The wizard tries to weasel out of the deal, offering to buy him a different piece of gear instead. But Leng Yu makes a better offer, a chance to trade techniques with her guild's top players. With that settled, Lin Yuan turns his attention to the fallen boss, a new prize for his collection. But as he prepares to summon his new minion, a system alert reveals his sewer guards have been killed. Lin Yuan's eyes widen in shock. He knows no ordinary player should be in that hidden area. He realizes the only one capable of this is the mysterious Snake Master, the traitor he's been hunting. Seizing the opportunity, he teleports away, leaving his new allies and their loot behind. The scene shifts to a dark cavern, the steady drip of water echoing in the oppressive silence. He arrives back at the dungeon, deciding to take a secret passage to be safe. But even this hidden path is swarming with werewolves, forcing him to cut his way through. He finds the corpse of one of his minions, noting the clean, silent kill. A closer look reveals the cause of death, 2 deep puncture wounds on its neck. He knows the dungeon's snakes are too small, and the Hades snake would have left nothing behind. The conclusion is simple and chilling. This is the work of the Snake Master. And right on cue, a hooded figure appears, his level 15 demonic snake ready to strike. The beast lunges forward, a blur of purple scales and raw, constricting power. But the Snake Master is just as fast, leaping back to avoid Lin Yuan's counterattack. Lin Yuan gathers his own spectral energy, his crimson eyes locked on his long-awaited target. Lin Yuan leaps into the fray, knowing these snakes are a complete unknown. But it's not just one. A second, larger serpent emerges to join the fight. He meets the beast's charge head-on, his blade the only thing between him and its fangs. He summons his own champion, unleashing the giant ghost wolf to even the odds. The 2 titans clash, a brutal battle between summoned beasts in the dark sewer. But Lin Yuan knows this is a distraction. He needs to find the man pulling the strings. His crimson eyes scan the darkness, searching for the hidden coward. And then he sees it, a glint of light from a sewer grate, the traitor's hiding spot. He doesn't bother with the lock, shattering the ground with a single, decisive strike. With his shadow fist equipped, he declares that the game of hide-and-seek is officially over. He unleashes a devastating punch, ready to shatter the grate and the coward behind it. But his fist stops just short, a sudden realization halting his attack. Lin Yuan's crimson eyes narrow. Something about this setup is all wrong. He spots a faint trace of his own energy, a marker he left behind on this very door. He realizes this isn't a hiding spot. It's a trap leading right to the King Hades snake. His ghost wolf dissipates, its purpose served as the real battle begins. Lin Yuan faces down the two demonic snakes, ready to see who will make the first move. He decides to go with a classic, activating his invisibility to even the odds. The snakes take the bait, lunging forward with their fangs bared. But their attack hits nothing but air, their target now a ghost in the shadows. The Snake Master scoffs from the shadows, realizing his little trap has failed. He declares this sewer is his territory and no one else will learn its secrets. From behind the grate, a low hiss signals his growing impatience. His purple eye narrows, spotting a flicker of movement in the darkness. He lunges forward, declaring he's found an opening to finish this intruder. A massive blast of dark energy tears through the sewer tunnel. But Lin Yuan is already behind him, questioning his opponent's terrible aim. He brings his own blade down, a flash of cyan light in the oppressive dark. The Snake Master blocks the blow, enraged at being so easily deceived. He unleashes his true power, a storm of spectral serpents aimed right at Lin Yuan. But Lin Yuan taunts him, revealing he's not the only summoner on this battlefield. The Snake Master is stunned, unable to believe he's facing another necromancer. Lin Yuan questions his opponent's limited skill set, earning a furious denial. He dismisses the traitor, claiming that without his pets he's completely defenseless. The taunt hits a nerve, and the Snake Master demands to know how he knows of their leader. But his words are met with a new pair of massive, demonic serpents. The traitor gloats, confident his own summons will be more than enough to win this fight. But Lin Yuan's mind is already working, confirming the traitor's allegiance and planning his capture. He moves in a flash of cyan light, bisecting one of the spectral beasts with ease. Enraged by the loss of his minion, the Snake Master unleashes a final, desperate blast of dark energy. But Lin Yuan sees an opportunity, feigning a powerful attack to lure the traitor in. The blast of dark energy tears through the sewer, sending Lin Yuan flying back from the recoil. The traitor's own spectral snakes wrap around him, their energy slowing his movements. The Snake Master gloats, assuming he's misjudged his opponent's class and power. But Lin Yuan's mind races, wondering how this fool knows so much about his hidden class. The traitor presses for information, asking how Lin Yuan knows about their leader. But Lin Yuan just smirks, promising to return the favor and extract every last secret. And just like that, the traitor's own snakes turn on him, now undead servants of Lin Yuan. Awkward. He explains that his own undead legion is endless, while the traitor's army is finite. The traitor is now trapped by his own minions, enraged by this impossible display of power. The Snake Master tries to make a break for it, refusing to be captured. He leaps away, vowing that a bastard like Lin Yuan will never take him alive. But Lin Yuan has one last trick up his sleeve. The corpse explosion art. The traitor is caught in the blast, a storm of his own minions making. He desperately orders his remaining snakes to entangle Lin Yuan, buying himself an escape. Lin Yuan stands over the carnage, noting the coward got away, but not without a clue. His crimson eyes narrow. These snakes are just future minions waiting to be claimed. But amidst the rubble, a faint glint of gold catches his attention. He finds a pocket watch, a strange keepsake left behind in the chaos. A lovely parting gift. He realizes it's a clue, a perfect excuse to investigate Leng Yu's guild for the traitor. He sends a message to Leng Yu, a simple request to discuss their recent dungeon run. Their meeting is set in a quiet corner of the sprawling desert city. Leng Yu arrives, offering a quick apology for her tardiness. She gets right to business, presenting the gold rank equipment he was promised. The system details the prize, a concentration ring that boosts both mana and its recovery. Lin Yuan notes the ring is perfect for his mana-hungry corpse explosion skill. A very thoughtful gift. She even offers him first pick of the other drops from the Valley of Ashes. But he only takes the skill scroll, leaving the rest of the gear for her team. Leng Yu teases him, surprised that a lone wolf like him would be found in a pub. Lin Yuan smoothly pivots, claiming he met a master from her guild in the sewers and wants an introduction. He presents the pocket watch, asking if she recognizes this particular accessory. Leng Yu takes the item, her expression thoughtful as she examines the strange keepsake. She confirms it's not standard gear, but agrees to investigate the matter for him. Lin Yuan then pivots, asking if her guild was upset about him taking the promised gold equipment. She admits the wizard was furious, but clarifies it was his own fault for making the bet. Her gaze softens, a flicker of a painful memory in her eyes. She reveals he bears a striking resemblance to her late brother, who would be his age. The pieces finally click into place for Lin Yuan, and he offers his simple condolences. He pushes the watch back to her, declaring that the past is in the past. But he leaves her with a cryptic warning. Stock up on anti-electricity potions because she'll need them. He reflects on his new knowledge, knowing the traitor's group is after a thunder dungeon. With his business concluded, he tells Leng Yu he'll consider her offer as they leave. But from the shadows, the jealous wizard watches them walk away, his expression dark. He seethes with rage, convinced they're dating and vowing to kill his new rival. The wizard steps out to confront them, feigning a chance encounter in the street. He tries to play it off as a coincidence, but his jealousy is practically radiating. He warns Leng Yu to stay away, but Lin Yuan calmly explains it's just guild business. The wizard calls his bluff, questioning why a lone wolf is discussing guild matters. He demands to know Lin Yuan's true purpose, but our boy is just tired of this pest. Lin Yuan smoothly claims he just wants to learn swordsmanship from a master like her, but Leng Yu shuts him down, stating she doesn't need his permission to speak with anyone. He tries to save face, claiming he was just worried about her gear, but she's already had enough. He watches them walk away, his jealousy twisting into a murderous obsession. With a look of pure hatred, he decides his rival needs to be permanently removed. The scene shifts to a dimly lit tavern, the perfect place for shady dealings. The wizard storms in, his mind set on hiring some professional help. He approaches a hooded figure, demanding his assistance in a little murder plot. The masked assassin calmly sips his drink, completely unfazed by the urgent request. The wizard offers double the pay, sending a picture of his target to seal the deal. He gives one final, sinister instruction. Make sure the hit is a public spectacle. He wants the kill to be a slow, public spectacle of torture. The masked assassin studies the image of his target, the price already paid. But a flicker of recognition crosses his mind. This face seems familiar. Meanwhile, unaware of the new price on his head, Lin Yuan continues his own hunt. He presents the pocket watch to a local, who points him toward the Scorpion Tail Knights. But the man explains that getting an audience with the Knights is nearly impossible. Their conversation is interrupted by a young woman arriving with a basket of food. The old man greets her as Edith, a name that catches Lin Yuan's attention. Doug reveals she's the daughter of a captain, but she insists she's just a tailor now. He tries to mediate their family dispute, but she refuses to even look at them. Edith's demeanor softens, and she asks the young stranger to follow her. She thought she'd never get the chance, but Lin Yuan tells her she just needed an opportunity. She opens a box, revealing a meticulously crafted formal uniform. It's a dress she spent a year sewing, a gift she wants him to deliver to her father. Lin Yuan accepts the package, promising to deliver it and return with an answer. The system confirms he's just accepted another hidden mission. It's a gold-rank quest to deliver the dress and mend a broken family. Our boy is now a delivery service. His journey takes him to the heavily guarded camp of the Scorpion Tail Knights. He's immediately stopped by the guards, who demand to know his business. But the mention of Edith's name is enough to get him an audience with the captain. He knows these knights are a major power, and an alliance with them would be a huge advantage. The guard returns, ready to lead him into the heavily fortified camp. As they walk, he sees the knights' unique mounts, massive armored lion scorpions. He notes that acquiring such a beast would require a great deal of favor with the guild. The guard points him to a tent, telling him the captain is waiting inside. He steels himself, knowing he must conceal his true power from the level 60 captain. He steps inside, announcing his presence to the formidable Captain Sid. But the captain's first words aren't a challenge, but a worried question about his daughter. Lin Yuan presents the box, explaining that Edith misses him dearly. The captain is moved by the gift, but saddened that she still won't see him in person. Captain Sid admires the uniform, noting his daughter's passion is still a work of art. He admits his own stubborn pride drove her away 10 years ago. He holds the gift close, a painful reminder of a decade of silence. Lin Yuan sees an opening, surprised by the powerful captain's softer side. Sid declares that glory means nothing. He just wants his daughter back in his life. Lin Yuan agrees to deliver the message, but has one more question to ask. He presents the pocket watch, asking if the captain recognizes its origin. But Sid has never seen the strange design before, another lead gone cold. He urges Lin Yuan to return to Edith, his focus solely on his daughter. But just as our boy turns to leave, the captain calls out for him to wait. Captain Sid's gaze sharpens, demanding to know Lin Yuan's true identity, but he quickly relents, deciding his daughter's trust is all the proof he needs. He thanks Lin Yuan, offering a badge and the authority to punish anyone who harms Edith. Lin Yuan accepts the token, promising to keep the captain's daughter safe. The system confirms his new friendly status and honorary membership with the Knights. He can't believe he was given the badge so easily, a symbol of immense power. With his reputation soaring, he heads to the newly unlocked guild shop. He browses the high-tier gear, but his eyes are set on a much bigger prize. The shopkeeper warns him of the steep price, 300 gold for the rare lion scorpion. But for Lin Yuan, who's practically printing money, the cost is no problem at all. The system confirms the purchase, and his new scorpion lion mount is officially activated. Back with Edith, she's moved to tears, having believed her father had forgotten her long ago. Lin Yuan relays the captain's message, confirming he still wants her in his life. And with that, the system confirms another hidden mission is successfully completed. Edith offers him a thank you gift, asking him to tell her father she's found her own path. The gift is a gold rank item, granting temporary immunity to all spells and control effects. Lin Yuan realizes this is the perfect counter to the Snake Master, a very useful reward indeed. He returns to the camp where Captain Sid is relieved to hear his daughter is happy. With the watch being a dead end, Lin Yuan decides to try a more direct approach. The captain reveals his knights wiped out an entire snake people civilization years ago. Well, that's one way to handle a pest problem. But the captain reveals the Duke is being plagued by nightmares of a snake. Lin Yuan's interest is piqued, asking for more details about this dream serpent. The captain explains the snake is colossal, but a dream is an intangible foe. He decides to entrust this strange investigation to his new honorary knight. Lin Yuan accepts the mission, ready to dive into this new mystery. The system confirms the quest. Investigate Duke Carlo's nightmare, a mission that reeks of the Snake Master. His journey takes him to the Duke's massive and imposing estate, but his arrival is met with the sight of a servant dragging someone out the door. So much for a warm welcome. A young woman is thrown to the ground, accused of defying the Duke's will. A man in a suit orders his guards to beat them, his face a mask of cold fury. The man's boot grinds into her back as he mocks her for her defiance. He declares it's an honor for a commoner to catch the Duke's eye, but Lin Yuan has arrived, his cold gaze taking in the entire pathetic scene. The guards turn on him, questioning who this stranger is to interfere. The man in charge scoffs, telling him to stay if he wants to play the hero. But the woman on the ground urges him to run, warning him of the Duke's power. Lin Yuan unleashes a wave of cyan energy, sending the thugs flying. He stands over the fallen leader and asks a simple question, "Where is the Duke?" The terrified man can only point, confirming this is Duke Carlo's estate. And right on cue, the Duke himself appears, demanding this commoner be thrown in jail. Looks like he didn't get the memo about the new honorary knight. Lin Yuan presents the badge, announcing he's here to solve the Duke's little nightmare problem. The Duke's tune changes instantly, his rage turning to fawning respect at the sight of the emblem. He welcomes Lin Yuan with open arms, promising a glowing recommendation if he succeeds. They move to the Duke's opulent study, a room filled with books and nervous servants. The maids seem on edge, their fear a palpable presence in the otherwise silent room. The Duke explains his torment, a recurring dream of a colossal snake that no one can explain. He presents a drawing of the beast, a familiar horned serpent with glowing, malevolent eyes. Lin Yuan immediately recognizes the King Hades' snake, confirming the traitor's involvement. A maid approaches with drinks, her words a mix of hope and a subtle warning. But her serious demeanor is broken as she trips, stumbling forward unexpectedly. The drink goes flying, splashing directly across the Duke's face. He erupts in a fit of rage, screaming at the terrified commoner. His hand comes down, promising a brutal punishment for her clumsiness. The maid can only brace for the blow, her fear palpable in the air. The Duke's face twists in fury as he calls her completely useless. He looms over her, ready to deliver a vicious kick to the fallen servant. But in a flash, Lin Yuan is there, sweeping her out of harm's way. He holds her close, calmly reminding the Duke of their unfinished business. The Duke tries to play it off, claiming he was just teaching her a valuable life lesson. He boasts about his own kindness, saying these people should be grateful he even took them in. The Duke demands the maid, Anna, confirm her gratitude for his kindness. The bruised servant can only agree, her spirit clearly broken by his cruelty. He then lectures Lin Yuan on the worthlessness of commoners. He claims their only purpose is to serve the nobility like himself. Lin Yuan remains silent, his crimson eyes cold and judging. Annoyed, the Duke orders a separate, lesser seat for his guest. At the banquet, he continues his mockery, surrounded by his terrified servants. His butler suggests a simple soup, as if Lin Yuan is too uncultured for real food. But Lin Yuan's focus is on the mission. He'll deal with this fool later. The maid he saved brings him the soup, a small act of kindness in this house. The Duke grows impatient, demanding to know if Lin Yuan has a solution yet. Lin Yuan calmly requests to observe the situation from the Duke's room that night. The suggestion is met with a flash of rage, the Duke shattering his wine glass. He explodes, refusing to let a commoner into his private chambers. Lin Yuan's crimson eyes narrow, his opinion of the arrogant fool now crystal clear.